Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you at historic McMorran Place in beautiful downtown Port Huron. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Well, it's about the end of the collegiate signing season, and the Prowlers went big game hunting this week. They picked up 3 NCAA Division I players. Defenseman John Larkin out of Mercyhurst University signed the other day, and then today, another bombshell. They got forwards Grayson Dietrich out of Niagara University and Ryan Alexander out of Colorado College. Big boosts to the Port Huron lineup. They will all have to play 5 games to be eligible for the Commissioner's Cup playoffs, and all 3 are expected to make their pro debuts tonight. We will have much more on them and the rest of the game as the Prowlers take on the Watertown Wolves tonight from McMorran Place. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
Is that him?
Look over there. It's Bob. Wow, just look at that hair.
Ever since he started getting his stuff from Global, the guy's unstoppable.
So that's what confidence can do?
That's just not fair.
Oh my goodness, it's Bob! Bob! Bob!
Give me the phone. I'm calling Global Pharmacy Plus for myself.
Welcome back here to McMorran Place, just minutes away between the Prowlers and the Wolves as they play the penultimate series between these teams this season. Still one more series to go between these teams this season. 4 of the final 6 games for both of these teams coming against each other. Well, let's take a look at what happened the last time out for each of these clubs. We start on Watertown's side. They were in Morristown, New Jersey at Menon Arena taking on the Danbury Hat Tricks for a neutral site game. Potential for an FPHL team in Morristown. The league has not been in New Jersey in 14 years, and the Hat Tricks took the win 3-1. Marquise Grant Mentis scored the first goal, but Eli Rivers was part of all 3 Hat Tricks goals as they came back to win. That game saw 1,000 people in the building, so I wouldn't call that the most encouraging number, but we'll see this summer if the FPHL decides that there should be a team in New Jersey. On the other side for the Prowlers, they're coming off a tight 4-3 overtime win to the Topeka Scarecrows as they got to the third period trailing by 1 goal. And then they trailed by 2 early in the frame, but then they got their power plays. And the man advantage did a lot of work for Port Huron. 2 power play goals in the third, and then Austin Federley with the game winner in overtime on the man advantage. Prowlers went 3 for 3 on the power play to steal the win from the Scarecrows. When you take a look at what that means for the standings in the Empire Division, Prowlers 94 points now. Their magic number to clinch home ice advantage is 6. Blue Ridge Bobcats have a 5-point lead now on Topeka, and right now that looks like the likeliest opponent for the Prowlers in the first round of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs, although that is, of course, undecided. As is, will the Danbury Hat Tricks miss the playoffs? They're technically still alive with 6 to play. Take a look at some players to watch tonight, starting with the Watertown Wolves. and it's Darian Bencic, as the Wolves had Igor Filipov and FM Michigan have to leave the team earlier this week. From what I've been told, it's visa-related issues. So now Bencic is the next man up, nearly a point per game this season for Watertown. He'll be the guy that they rely upon for offense. On the other side for the Prowlers, a guy who's had a lot of success against the Wolves offensively this season, Tim Organ. You see him 5 points in 6 games from the back end this season against the Watertown Wolves, including his only power play goal of the season. And we'll see if he can get himself on the scoreboard again tonight. But there are lots of changes to this Prowlers lineup. Let's take a look at the projected lines for tonight's game. And we have 3 collegiate players who will be making their pro debut tonight. Grayson Dietrich will be on the top line with Reggie Millette and Jamie Bussell. Ryan Alexander will play alongside Vinny DeCumbis and Bobby Price. Blake Anderson is out tonight. Load management time of the year for the Prowlers. And again, you bring in all these guys, they need to get their 5 games in before the playoffs so that they are eligible for playoffs. That means you will see guys over these next few weeks sit out of games when they've been in nearly every game or every game so far this season. Tonight, that guy is Blake Anderson. Luke James, Connor Bazal also getting healthy scratch tonight. Justin Jamer as well. He still needs 4 games, and he needs to play 4 of the final 6 to be eligible for the playoffs. Dylan Marty slots in as the extra forward, and that third line stays the same: Lockney, Graham, and Hakela. Meanwhile, on the back end, John Larkin will take a top pairing spot alongside Nick Favaro, Brian Parsons, and Brett Lockhart. The Massachusetts connection is reunited, and Tim Organ and Austin Federley will be the third defense pair. And Bailey Huber is back between the pipes tonight for the Port Huron Prowlers. Referees taking the ice here, followed now by the Watertown Wolves. And then we will see the Port Huron Prowlers out there in front of a nice crowd here. It is Faith and Family Night here at McMorran Place. We have lots of congregations in the community out for tonight's game. They had a Faith and Sports Talk featuring some of the Prowlers players before the game, and we will upload that to the PHP Network YouTube channel at some point either this weekend or during the week. But let's take you down to ice level for the rest of tonight's pregame ceremonies.
Make some noise for your Port Huron Prowlers! Welcome to Port Huron, number 15, John Larkin. On defense, number 16, Brian Parsons. And forward, welcome to Port Huron, number 17, Grayson Dietrich. And forward, welcome to Port Huron, number 74, Ryan Alexander. And forward, number 79, Reggie Millette. And in goal, number 39, Bailey Huber. The head coach of the Prowlers is Matt Graham, associate head coach Chris Collins, and assistant coach Alex Johnson. The athletic trainer is presented by Port Huron and Harold Messon Associates. The equipment managers Brian Larson and Ken Falk. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And gentlemen, may we suggest removing your caps as we honor America and salute the men and women serving our country with the singing of our national anthem, presented by Duraclean by Mike Batchelor. We remind all members of the armed forces and veterans who are present but not in uniform that you may render the military salute. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Riley Westrick.
Oh, say, and you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you...
And that is tonight's national anthem from McMorran Place Prowlers and Wolves getting set to go. We have a quick pregame ceremony here for our off-ice officials and announcing our Volunteer of the Year for the off-ice officials. While we do that, let's introduce you to the new guys. They got their rookie lap earlier tonight. John Larkin, Ryan Alexander, and Grayson Dietrich. Alexander will wear number 74, Dietrich number 17, and Larkin will wear number 15 on defense, in case you missed it. There's Alexander, comes from Colorado College, 15 points in 34 games this season, has only won with Colorado College, spent his first 3 years at Arizona State. And there's Dietrich. You just saw Larkin a moment ago at Mercyhurst, played 3 years at Ohio State before that. And now here's Grayson Dietrich, as Dietrich played 2 years at American International College and 2 years at Niagara University. So Dietrich was a teammate of Reggie Millette briefly at AIC during Dietrich's freshman year back in 2022-23. Larkin played in 2021-22 in the NAHL, the Austin Bruins, with Braden Simmons-Fisher, the former Prowler who's now in the AHL. And Ryan Alexander was also a teammate of Reggie Millette in the USHL with Dubuque in the 2020-21 season. Shout out to John Goodrich, who's been named the Volunteer of the Year this year. He does so much hard work, our timekeeper down there every single night. So shout out to John and all the volunteers who help us out, whether up here in the booth and down and around the arena, and all the off-ice officials as well. Got to give a big shout out to all of them. Let's take a look at tonight's Orthopedic Associates starting lineup for the Port Huron Prowlers. They have some rookies making their debuts up front. Dietrich and Alexander will flank Reggie Millette. John Larkin will be on defense with Brian Parsons, and Bailey Huber is back between the pipes for the Prowlers. So all three guys in their pro debuts will get into the starting lineup. And of course the fans giving them big cheers before this game. And I believe we have a pregame prayer here from Jeff Pemberton, a pastor at one of the local churches. We'll send it down to him.
All right, everyone. We're going to take a minute on Faith and Family Night here. And if we can bow our heads, we're going to have a moment of prayer. Father God, we thank you that you are on the move in Port Huron. We thank you that you are on the move in the FPHL. And we thank you that you are on the move in the Prowlers. We thank you for this opportunity tonight to share in a time of our faith and to honor the families here. And Lord, we just ask that this time would be a blessing to you, that we would be aware of your move, and that you would save souls in this city. We love you, and we ask that you would keep our players safe tonight while they have fun. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Jeff, for tonight's prayer, and he'll get to rev the siren as we take a look at tonight's starting goaltending matchup. Bailey Huber back between the pipes again for the Prowlers. He'll go against Rico Gonzalez. Huber has won 9 of his last 10 starts, up to 11 wins this season, 31 saves on 34 shots in the win over the Scarecrows last Saturday night. Meanwhile, Gonzalez has lost each of his last 6 starts, although he was in net for the Wolves' only win over their last 13 games. They have lost 12 of 13, and he'll try and find a victory here. He played in both games against the Prowlers a couple of weekends ago, as did Huber, although Gonzalez didn't start the Friday game. Huber started both, as we are underway in this one. Brad Reiter wraps the puck around to Adam Zimmerman. Tossed ahead out of the zone. John Larkin gets his first touch as a pro. Ryan Parsons looking ahead towards Ryan Alexander and just missed him, so we get an icing. So again, Larkin, Alexander, and Dietrich, the 3 new guys out there for the Prowlers. All collegiate signings, all out of the top level of college hockey in the world, NCAA Division I. And Port Huron very excited to have those guys here in the building. Chris Corrigan tried to wrap the puck in front, couldn't do it. Drive from the point, whistles wide, and getting to it first was Zimmerman. Popped off the wall. Alexander peels back, chips the puck ahead right to Dietrich. Back to Alexander. He can fly. Alexander tried a back pass for Dietrich, who is surrounded. Prowlers in the midst of a change as they get Bobby Price's line out there with Vinny DeCumbis and Dylan Marty for this shift. Varava sent the puck ahead. Bencic dumps it in. And now it's Price picking it up. Price with a nice move around Bencic. 3-on-2 if the Prowlers hurry. Here comes Price, delaying for DeCumbis. Couldn't swipe it on net. Price back on it. Trying to turn the corner. His shot off a stick and lands in the near side. Hunter Hall takes over. Slid it ahead to Trevor Newman. Poked off his stick. And a couple of players finished their check around Trevor Newman. Federley tossed ahead to Matt Graham, fresh off the bench. He has to chase after it. Batted out of the zone. Lockhart hustling over to it. Fadiev knocked down. And back behind the net is Parsons, able to one-hand it along. Henning pinched. Couldn't get that puck. It slides all the way down, and another icing called here against the Prowlers. Under 2 minutes in, already 2 icings for Port Huron. Well, the Prowlers and Meyer are combining for the Goals for Good program. For every goal the Prowlers score this season, Meyer will donate money to help hungry families in our community. So far this season, the Prowlers and Meyer have helped deliver over 9,500 meals. Puck tied up at the dot off this face-off. Lockney trying to force it back to his defense. Finally, Lockhart is able to take over. Gave it away, though. Matt Gilbert towards the net And it's covered up by Huber. Prowlers get a change. Reggie Millette will stick out there. The rest of his line joins him. It's Dietrich and Bucell, the normal line with Millette. But Ryan Alexander did start the game in his pro debut on the other wing. Alexander will play along with Bobby Price and Vinny DeCumbis tonight. At least that's how the lines are to start. Dietrich tripped up, lost it to Marquis Grant Mentis. He wheels in, cuts all the way across the zone, fed it back to the middle and off of Corgan's stick. Puck below the goal line, Grant Mentis chased by Millette. Up high it goes, tossed back deep. Favaro tried to tap it over to Larkin. Brad Ryder slid it up top, shot blocked by Bucell. Fed to the middle, Ryder on his backhand. Gets it to the point to Brian Dunford, number 13. 38-year-old has played parts of 6 seasons in the FPHL. As here comes Dietrich wheeling in. Dietrich had it poked off his stick at the last moment by McDonald. Get you more on Dunford later. Benchich slid it down low. Here's Federley continuing to move the puck around. Alexander popped out to the middle, gave it away. And missing on the short side was Darian Benchich. Behind the net, Newman wraps it up the wall, kept in by Dunford. And now it's Price. Price starts up, over to Federley. And now Organ. Prowlers look to escape their own zone. Price does it with his skates. Had it poked off his stick. Parsons back to Lockhart. DeCumbis steps off the wall into the offensive end. DeCumbis across, looking for Hakala, who didn't get much on that one-timer. Good stick by Hall. Loose puck, Parsons pinches in, takes the wrist shot, punched out by Rico Gonzalez. Lockhart now works down the boards for Graham. Had it stolen away. Here comes Benchich. Benchich back pass. Newman shot. Whistled past the cage. 4.5 gone in period one. Only one shot on goal recorded. That belongs to the man with the puck right now, Brian Parsons. Graham drops it back to Parsons. Tipped in by Lockney, and the Prowlers get a wholesale change. Reggie Millette's line out there along with the top D pairing. Puck wrapped around. Dietrich and Gilbert get there together. They cancel out. Taken in at the point. Shot towards the net. Blocked by Larkin. Bucell tried a lead pass. Has Millette to the net. On the backhand save and covered by Gonzalez. Just over 5 minutes gone in period one. Reggie Millette with the best chance of the game so far for either side. Still scoreless here at McMorran Place.
This isn't working. LJ, pass me those flyers. No look behind the back pass. It's a whole play. LJ, come on. Gap up. Close the gap. Close the gap. What are we saying? This isn't working. We need a shift change. Let's bring in the professionals.
Hello, I'm home. There he is.
What is happening?
Relax. We won. They brought back the snack wrap. Spicy or ranch?
Spicy.
Yeah, go. Yeah. Just one little bite.
Can you stop?
Oh, sorry.
Gather your crew. The snack wrap is back.
Happy birthday to the fans on the glass there. Prowlers trying to give them a win for their birthday. Just over 5 minutes gone in period one. Port Huron has the only 2 shots on goal so far, belonging to Brian Parsons and Reggie Millette. Both teams have had some decent opportunities. Wow. Brad Ryder takes the puck, moves it ahead to Marquise Grant Mentis. Favaro up towards Bucell, tried to keep it moving, could not. Favaro goes back to Larkin. Dietrich comes back for it. Now Favaro once more. Larkin. Area pass for Millette. Bucell just chips it in deep. Henning and Dietrich after it. Henning spun away from Grayson Dietrich. The veteran skates ahead, gets to the red line, dumps it in right on Huber. And he'll hang on for a whistle and a face-off. That's the first recorded shot on net for the Wolves in this game. Funny thing about Dustin Henning, he won a championship back in 2008 in Morristown, New Jersey, playing for a team at that time. And then he was back there last Saturday in Morristown for the neutral site game but against the Danbury Hat-Tricks. That Danbury won 3-1. Crowd of 1,000 was out for that game. Not sure if that's a strong enough crowd to get the FPHL to put a team there, but we'll find out. Benchich sends the puck back to Dunford, D-to-D Zimmerman. Rink-wide feed off the boards, missed his intended target, and that's an icing against the Wolves. Looking for an edge in your game? Top Cheese Hockey Wax is the official wax of the Port Huron Prowlers. Use code Prowlers15 for 15% off at topcheesehockeywax.com. The Decumbus line out there against the Hall line for this face-off to Rico Gonzalez's right. Push back to Parsons. Wrist shot off a body as Dunford was tied up with Alexander right in front. Lockhart down to Price, down to Alexander. Taking a look, spinning down the boards, knocked down. Alexander right back on that puck, able to poke it to Price. Decumbus takes the shot, stopped by Gonzalez, rebound, just cleared out of the zone. Zimmerman and Price ran into each other away from the puck. Wolves trying to sneak in a change. Prowlers wheel ahead. Decumbus drops it. Alexander cuts to the middle and couldn't get a shot away. Good play by Gilbert. Up to the left wing side, dropped off. Gilbert tried to go around the net, squeezed off by Parsons. Gilbert keeps going. Padilla swung it in front, comes all the way to the point. Wrist shot Varava, hit traffic on the way through, and Dietrich rescues the rebound. He heads up ice, feeds it to Bucell. Millette comes in for the puck, down to Dietrich. Millette with a steal. Turnaround shot, that was blocked, and ends up back in Prowler territory. Hit Baron Simard, number 5. Millette chips it around one man, keeps on chugging, but couldn't get back to that puck. Larkin wins it back for Port Huron. Millette has to regroup back in the neutral zone. Now it's Nick Favaro. Over to Larkin. Prowler slowing things down. Larkin under pressure from Corgan. He's playing his first game back off the IR, returned yesterday. Prowlers move in, it's Graham. Dropping to the trailer, Favaro shot! Fluttered over top of the net. Graham in front and couldn't find either Lockney or Hakela. Here comes Grant Mentis the other way. Corgan gloves the puck down, gets to it, and just missed wide. Huber may have gotten a piece. Hakela pulls it through Ryder. Grant Mentis on it. Drops it back to Zimmerman. 11:10 left to go in period 1. Zimmerman drops the shoulder in front. Hall! Stick handle, that wouldn't go! Newman lost the puck out of the offensive end. Not many whistles in this one. But we get one here for an offside against Darian Bencic. Just over 9 minutes gone in period one. What up and down action we've had. Here's one of the latest chances. Hunter Hall probably would have had himself a goal if he just whacked at that puck, tried to make one too many stick handles. And Bailey Huber was able to get in front of it. See the referees having a conversation here. Referees tonight are Adam Fish and Logan Wedekamp, the linesmen Jamie West and Brandon Batons. They move this face-off from Watertown's end to center ice. Pushed into Wolves territory. Dunford over to Zimmerman. Watched by Alexander. There's Dunford. Ahead to Hall. Tried to feed it to the left wing side. Parsons. Over to his D partner Lockhart. Parsons again. Slowly up. Chip to the middle of the ice. Hall drops it back to Samard. Gleb Varava back for Samard. Varava once again. As players all over him. Here's Millette off the steal. Over to Dietrich. He scores! First pro goal, Grayson Dietrich gets the scoring started tonight. How about our cameraman Aiden Brecker out there on the ice, getting Aiden vision after the goal. Prowlers with all kinds of pressure. Millette for Dietrich. He's not going to miss from there. First pro goal for the rookie out of Niagara University. And Dietrich goes high glove on Rico Gonzalez. Plenty of space up there. He had one goal in 36 games this season for Niagara. Prowlers looking for more. Here's Graham. Lockney off the side of the net. Just misfired a bit as Gonzalez slid over. Hegela with a steal. Trying to fire it down low towards Graham. Poked up the boards. Lockney throws his body into Balsagon. Then Lockney may have taken a stick or the puck up high. Grabbing his face as he heads back to the Prowler bench. Larkin pops it out. Huber diving, keeps it out of danger, and here comes Alexander. Kind of poked off his stick, and the puck goes out of play. Past the midway point of period one, Grayson Dietrich has his first pro goal. The Prowlers have a 1-0 lead. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hi guys, we just stopped at Industrial Park Marathon to get some fuel and some snacks before the Prowlers game at McMorran.
Nice. Yeah, we just stopped by here at Industrial Park Marathon so I can get a Slurpee before the game.
Wait till after the game. If the Prowlers score 3 or more goals, Slurpees will be free.
Thanks for the info. I'm going to get my Slurpee after, but we'll see you at the Prowlers game.
See you at the game. Go Prowlers!
Back here on the PHP Network, Prowlers lead at 1-0, 9.5 minutes to go in the first period. Grayson Dietrich gets his first pro goal. And a very unique, I guess, quirk of hockey is you get guys that end their college career and then immediately join the pro ranks. That's very different than other sports. I'm sure most of you at home know football, hey, that's an off-season acquisition for college guys. Basketball, off-season. Baseball, they come in mid-year, but they usually end up at a lower level. A guy like Grayson Dietrich, able to come in right away and immediately make an impact. Just got done at Niagara, now scoring goals for the Prowlers. Will, back to you.
Thank you, Brady, and Again, a big goal for Grayson Dietrich, and that is one of the funny quirks about hockey is you rarely see players play both hockey or play college and professional in the same season in other sports. And hockey, it's a regularity at all levels. The FPHL, SP, ECHL, AHL, and the NHL all the way up. But again, just one of those interesting things about hockey. As Austin Federley skates away from Grant Mentis. Slows up at the red line, toss the puck in. Henning and Price after it. Batted over to the far side, but all of Price's teammates were over at the bench. Rink wide feed, too far ahead of Corgan. Parsons keeps it away from Chris Corgan. Price circles back, goes to Parsons. Now Lockhart skating ahead. Brett Lockhart wheels in, slows up, down to Millette. Tied up in the corner by Hall, who lost his stick. Dietrich pulls it off the boards. Dietrich just lost the handle as he got to a shooting area. Dietrich winds it up again. Here he comes. Poked off his stick by Zimmerman. And the pass ahead goes to Bencic. Marty comes back for the puck. Millette takes a look over his shoulder. Wraps it around the boards to Lockhart. Over in Millette's direction. Zimmerman turns it back the other way. Millette got a piece of that pass, and now he heads off to finish the change. Lockhart for Favaro. So we approach 7.5 to go in period one. The stretch pass touched in by Graham. He gets to it first. Center, Haikala the one-timer. Rebound poked over to the corner. Larkin able to hold the line, but only for a moment. Samard ahead to Gilbert. Couldn't complete that pass. Favaro. Lockney drops it back to Larkin. Favaro ahead to Haikala. He fires the puck all the way around, or at least tried to. Fadiev able to toss it out off the window. Favaro. Looking ahead to Alexander. Puck played now by the Wolves. Pass was behind Gilbert, but did hit him in the skates, so no icing. Alexander slid it ahead to Price, has DeCumbis with him. DeCumbis looking, shooting, and a save by Gonzalez. Tossed up the boards. Oregon kept it in at the line, but two Wolves able to force it out. Austin Federley over to Tim Morgan. DeCumbis couldn't bring in the pass. Grant Mentis still has it. He turned it on net just wide. Alexander over to Price. Back across. Here comes Ryan Alexander. Throws on the brakes. Over to Bucell off the bench. He's stopped by Gonzalez. Grant Mentis now the other direction. Three Prowlers back to greet him. Tried to float it across. Parsons kept it away from Corgan for a moment. Millette grabs the puck, starts slowly up. Reggie Millette into the offensive zone, dangles, peels back. Millette across, Bucell, stop, rebound, Dietrich scores again! How about two in your first period of pro hockey for Grayson Dietrich? Reggie Millette made it happen. Stick handled through four Wolves and just sent it across. Good shot from Bucell and a juicy rebound for Dietrich. I'd say that was the easier of his two pro goals so far. Right there on the spot to tap it home. The Prowlers with a 2-0 lead. As Graham fires it up to the point, Favaro lets it go, blocked by Newman. Graham, and a stick hand away from Hall, who's leveled by Marty. But Dylan Marty is going to the penalty box. Paul wants after Marty. Paul didn't actually have control of the puck. It was just kind of in his skates, and Graham was digging it out. Take another look at that hard collision. Paul was reaching for it, but didn't have it, and that's why they call the interference. Well, Dylan Marty has a seat in the sin bin. And the Wolves will go on the power play first tonight. They're 9th in the FPHL at just over 19%. Went 1 for 9 last weekend against Danbury. Prowlers PK is 3rd in the league, 85.4%. They were 6 for 8 last weekend against Topeka. And they look for a quick clear off the draw, and they get it, courtesy of Tim Morgan. Right wing side, Grant Mentis, cross ice pass, Benchich, all the way around. Hunter Hall takes a hit from Oregon. Prowlers try and clear, hit the referee. Millette circles back, wastes some more time before firing it off of Newman. And now it's Tecumseh's turn. Millette over to Favaro. And he saucers it all the way down. Grant Mentis wheels around the goal. All the way up. Right wing side, chips it in behind Bailey Huber. 3 Wolves after it. McDonald battling for it. Inlow pinched in. And now McDonald couldn't center. Fadiev took a hit from Federley, and Austin Federley chips it out. 45 seconds left in Watertown's first man advantage of the game. Grant Mentis for Fadiev on his backhand. Couldn't stick handle to the net. Now in low. Trying to go back to Fadiev. Ends up down low for McDonald, who canceled out with Parsons. Grant Mentis. Fadiev in tight. And that hit the side of the net. Graham able to clear. 15 seconds left in the power play for Watertown. Fadiev gets to that puck first, so no icing. Fadiev tried to wrap. Couple of saves for Bailey Huber. He has it underneath the glove. 3:27 left to go in period 1. We'll take a next break here on the PHP Network.
Yeah, I don't know about this one, fellas.
Boys, we don't overcome adversity by backing down. But yeah, I don't know about this one.
That's reassuring.
We're so screwed.
All right, boys, here's the game plan. LJ, you start with bananas. B-Way.
Wait, why do I have to do the bananas?
Because you're the softest on the team.
I don't want the bananas.
This thing is gonna melt. We gotta hurry up.
I won't do it.
Okay, both of you. I will do the bananas and the whipped cream. Fets, please continue.
Who's paying for this anyway?
I am. I just bought my tickets for the Prowlers game this weekend, and the Milk House gave me 25% off my order.
Fets, why'd you buy the tickets? You're literally on the team.
For the discount.
So are you all ready to give it a try?
Oh, we're ready.
It's true. Get 25% off your entire order at the Milk House, October through April. Simply show your ticket stubs at checkout and enjoy your discounted treat.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
Tonight's washed-up player of the game, presented by Chippewa Laundromat, is Brad Ryder. Chippewa Laundromat, Port Huron's only multi-generational laundromat. Ryder, the 31-year-old out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, acquired by the Wolves as part of a 4-player deal in September from the Indiana Sentinels, who selected him in the expansion draft. Guy has scored the first goal in 2 franchises' histories, the Motor City Rockers and the Monroe Moccasins, which is as good a trivia question as you can have, I'd say, as for someone who plays professional hockey. That's an awesome trivia question, so hopefully that ends up in a trivia somewhere one of these days. As Brett Lockhart skates the puck ahead, that will take care of the rest of the penalty. Here comes Lockhart. Backpedaling over to Marty, fresh out of the box. Up top, gave it down to Lockney. Now Larkin walks in. Lockhart, he steps in and shoots off the bar. It caroms in. Lockhart hit the iron and then hit a player and bounced into the back of the net. It's 3-0 Prowlers. Brett Lockhart was looking high glove on Rico Gonzalez. Take a look at the overhead, see who that hits. That hits Hunter Hall, so it will be Brett Lockhart's goal. And sometimes you get a little bit of luck. Brett Lockhart has his 4th of the year. Prowlers rolling in period number 1. Oregon knocked down by Malsagov. He steps in, tried to feed it across. Great play by Austin Federley. 2-on-2 the other way. Alexander cuts in. DeCumbus shoots and a kick save by Gonzalez. One-handed down ice. And Oregon forces it right up the boards. And it pops up out of play. John Larkin getting an assist on that one, his first pro point. The Blue Water Area Rescue Mission is an overnight warming shelter for homeless men in St. Clair County. If you need help or want to volunteer, call them at 810-824-3244 or find them on the corner of 24th Street and Bancroft. Shot towards the net, gloved and held by Bailey Huber. Be Warm is the presenting partner for our Faith and Family Night. They are here in the building, and we're giving them monetary donations from ticket sales for this game, 50-50, and they're hosting a coat drive as well. As Dietrich eats a shot from Varava. And now Dietrich starts up on offense. And to toss it over to Bucell, down to Dietrich. In front looking for Millette, and Ryder able to cut that off. Watching Reggie Millette and Grayson Dietrich play together during practice all week, it was just unbelievable. Those two guys looked like they'd been playing together forever. And again, I mentioned it in the pregame show. They played together briefly when Millette and Dietrich were both at American International College during Dietrich's freshman year back in 2022-23. That was Millette's final collegiate season. But I mean, the way they were ripping the puck around during practice, looks like they've been playing together since. Here's Graham with a chance! And it's stopped by Gonzalez. Great zone entry from Artu Hakala to make that play happen. Prowlers all over Watertown in period 1, 90 seconds left to go in it. They're up 13-3 in the shots department. And 3-0 on the scoreboard as Lockney chips it down to Graham. Up top, Favaro looking, shooting, deflected, juggled and covered by Gonzalez. Well, coming up on the first intermission report right here on the PHP Network, we'll go around the Empire, all the highlights from last weekend's games in the Empire Division. Also take a look at some out-of-town scores and much more. It's all coming up here on the PHP Network. We will also hear from Grayson Dietrich, who scored a first 2 Prowler goals tonight. His first 2 as a pro in his pro debut. Henning tosses the puck ahead, settled down by Federley. Tim Morgan up to DeCumbus, touch for Price, wheeling in. Price with a step, takes the shot, he scores! Make it 4 in period 1 for Port Huron. Look out, FPHL. This is the new Prowlers offense. What a shot from Bobby Price, as the Prowlers goal-scoring leader picks up his 22nd of the season. High blocker on Rico Gonzalez. Final minute still of period 1. Prowlers digging for more. At the point, set down low by Lockhart. Dunford gave it up, tossed ahead. Malsigov had it batted back. Bucell over for Lockhart. Ahead to Alexander, good stick by Malsigov. Zimmerman all the way up past everybody, and an icing called against the Watertown Wolves. 15.4 to go in period 1. Prowlers with their best start to a game this season. They scored a season-high 4 goals in this first period. Most goals they've scored in a first period this year. As Malsigov looking for one last chance, wheeled it in front, batted back by Graham. Zimmerman on his backhand, sent it deep off a body, and that will do it. Prowlers get 4 in the opening 20. They've now outscored the Watertown Wolves 9-0 over their last 40 minutes of play between these teams. The shots on goal, 15-3 in favor of the Prowlers. They get 2 from Grayson Dietrich and 1 each from Brett Lockhart and Bobby Price. Our Brady Beaton is standing alongside Grayson Dietrich in his pro debut.
Down here on the ice with one of the newest Prowlers, Grayson Dietrich. 2 goals in your first period out here. Has to feel pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. Being the first pro game I ever played in, it's awesome. The atmosphere is definitely getting it going too, and I love it.
So you get the first 2. Did that help you settle in a little bit, calm the nerves down?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, had a couple turnovers in the first few shifts. Got the first one and kind of settled back into my game.
So after you get the first one, I'm sure you relax a little bit. Did the second one feel better than the first, or just as good?
I'd say just as good. That was all puck luck, so.
Hey, well, you make your own luck sometimes. Grayson, I appreciate it. Good luck in the second period.
Thank you.
Will, back to you.
Thank you, Brady. And Grayson Dietrich, you see it there again. That's his first pro goal. And we'll show you the other one as well, as he picked up number 1 and number 2 in period number 1, as Reggie Millette got an assist on both of those. That line, Millette, Bucell, and Dietrich getting it going in that first period. But the Prowlers kept it going throughout that opening 20 minutes. They're up 4-0. Once again, coming up in the first intermission report right here on the PHP Network, we will take a look back at this week's edition of Around the Empire. Out-of-town scores, FPHL storylines, and more. It's all coming up right here on the PHP Network. Have you checked out the Prowlers team store? It's located on the southwest end of McMorran Arena. Has all kinds of cool stuff, new stuff coming in. Feels like every week. I mean, I'm picking up an Amazon order from the McMorran box office every week because we have new stuff all the time. You want to see the full complement of stuff that is available? You can check it out at shop.phprowlers.com. You can also order from there and have it delivered to your house. So order Prowlers merch or FPHL merch. We have stuff featuring logos from every team in the FPHL at shop.phprowlers.com. It can come to your house, whether your house is in the United States, Canada, Europe, anywhere around the world. So either visit shop.phprowlers.com or scan that QR code on your screen to discover the Prowlers team store. We will be right back here on the PHP Network.
SMR Automotive Systems is part of the Motherson Group and a proud community sponsor of the Port Huron Prowlers. We are one of the largest manufacturers of rearview mirrors for passenger vehicles in the world, with local plants in Port Huron and Marysville. We strive to support our local communities and have positions available for various abilities and experience. Find out more about who we are at smr-automotive.com.
What's more authentic than a Hungry Howie's Detroit-style pizza? Nothing. We're not playing around with the pizza of our birthplace. Thick crust, cheese to the edge, sauce on the top. Where it belongs. We've seen a lot of fakes out there. Not here. This is authentic Detroit-style pizza. Order yours now online for $12.99. We sauce the top and rep for the 313 everywhere. We do bold. Hungry?
Howie's!
Hockey is like a business. One missed pass can derail the perfect plan. Have Taft Consulting help you get your whole team on the same page. They have the expertise to help you follow through on all your goals. Find out how they can help you today by emailing taftconsulting@outlook.com.
Hey, Spike, my hip meds are costing a fortune. My humans are stressed, and they're pretending it's fine.
You're not alone, Max. My humans are cutting back on my flea and tick meds.
Ugh, tell me about it. My Thyroid pills were draining the kibble fund until we found Global Pharmacy Plus.
Online stores? Are they actually cheaper?
Way cheaper. They save my humans 40% or more compared to those other big online sites.
My humans can finally afford on premium treats again!
Congratulations on your engagement again, man. You know, you should get some life insurance.
I never really thought about that. How would I do that?
We can help you with that at Zach Egan State Farm. Congratulations on getting married, man. Have you gotten a house?
We just got one, actually, yeah.
Well, if you want, we can help you out with life insurance at Zach Egan State Farm to cover your mortgage. Is Olin a year old now?
He is.
Wow. Have you guys got life insurance set up on him yet?
I haven't even thought about it yet.
Oh.
How would I go about that?
Well, we can help you with that at Zach Egan State Farm. High five?
Yeah, and we should have gotten life insurance years ago.
Hey, Ken. We've actually got a policy for people your age at Zach Egan State Farm. Give us a call.
Explore the 140 miles of stunning shoreline along Lake Huron. That is Michigan's Thumb Coast. Discover charming coastal towns, serene beaches, and endless outdoor adventures. Stay at cozy hotels, paddle through pristine blue waters, and hit the fairways along breathtaking views. Plan your perfect getaway at bluewater.org.
Back here in Port Huron, the Prowlers are dominating the Watertown Wolves. Through 20 minutes of play, it's 4-0. Well, let's take a look at what happened last weekend for both of these teams and the rest of the Empire Division, this week's edition of Around the Empire. The Prowlers had to go to Indiana to make up a game that was postponed in January due to weather. Second period's tied up at 1. Jonas Leas finds Corey Cunningham on the backside, and the Sentinels take the lead. Held that into the third. Max Tortorella steps out from behind the net, and he finds the back of the net, and that made it a 2-goal lead for the Sentinels, who ended up winning 4-1 and finished the 15-game season series on a high note. They then welcomed in the Black Bears for their final home games of the season. 29 seconds in on Friday, CJ Stubbs gets the puck to the net. It finds its way through, and that really set the tone for the rest of the night, as it was a big lead in the third. Here comes Nick Swain crossing the blue line, and he puts his hat-trick goal to the top shelf. Black Bears get another shutout from Dominic Tomei, and the team's third shutout in a row as they dominated 6-0. The weekend wrapped up the next night. Second period, 1-0 Black Bears. Unable to make good on the 3-on-1. Here comes Phil Tomacek the other way. He makes no mistake, sliding at 5-hole to tie the game. Later in the frame, Dan Weber's shot touched home by Zach Sirota. Black Bears are back in front. Then less than 2 minutes later, Ivan Bondarenko finds Austin D'Orazio sneaking in from his point position. D'Orazio makes it 3-1, and Dyson Skinner made 22 saves in his Black Bears debut. Binghamton got the sweep and has given up just 1 goal over its last 4 games. Prowlers headed home for a 2-game set against the Topeka Scarecrows. Second period Friday, tied up at 1. Just as a Port Huron power play expired, Blake Anderson in front to Jamie Bucell. That's a tap-in from right in front of the blue paint. Midway through the third, same score. Shot came in, it was blocked, and R2 Hakala cleaned up the rebound. That one was initially waved off. It was reviewed and then eventually called a good goal, as the Prowlers scored 4 unanswered to get themselves back in the win column. They battled again the next night, skipped to the third, 2-1 Topeka. Connor Lind from long range as the puck popped out to him, and he makes it a 2-goal Scarecrows lead. A few minutes later, it's the Prowlers' turn on the power play. Lucas Lockney gets his own rebound and tucks it home, and it's a 1-goal game again. Then another Port Huron man advantage. Reggie Millet's shot finds its way through. Matt Graham right in front gets credit for the goal, and he sent the game to overtime. Federle, Price one-timer punched out by Lenz. Federle straight on, takes the shot, he scores! Federle ends it! Prowlers climb all the way back to win it! Austin Federle capped the comeback for Port Huron. His team finished 3 for 3 on the man advantage to stun Topeka. Bobcats wanted to take advantage of those results. They hosted Baton Rouge second period on Friday, 1-0 Blue Ridge. Daniel Martin claps home the rebound to make it a 2-0 game. Just over a minute later, puck will come over to Denver Craig. Yes, he's a Bobcat again, and he slides it over to Nick Stuckless, who has an easy tap in on the back door. Anthony Schrum made 26 saves down at the other end for his first pro shutout, as the Cats jumped ahead of Topeka. Schrum was back between the pipes the next night, less than 5 minutes in. Blue Ridge power play. Nick McHugh, nice hands in tight, goes up to the top shelf and opens the scoring. Lay in the second, same score. Timothy St. Pierre is the trailer on this rush, and he's the goal scorer as well, as the Bobcats give the Zydeco some deja vu, another 3-0 win. How about 40 more saves for Schrum to complete his perfect weekend? Let's wrap it up with the hat tricks and the Wolves. First period on Friday in Watertown, 1-0 Danbury. Caden Kandurka finds Jordan Crom right up the gut. First of 2 in the game for Crom. Skip to the third, still a 2-goal lead for the hat-tricks. Konstantin Cherniuk sends the puck in front. Grady Friedman gets his stick on it. Friedman with his first pro goal. 23 seconds later, how about Friedman again? His second pro goal. As the hat-tricks pulled away in the third, they end up getting a 5-1 win. The teams traveled to Menon Arena in Morristown, New Jersey for a neutral site game on Saturday. Starting the first period, Wolves on the power play. Marquise Grant Mentis fires it home. The first FPHL goal in New Jersey in 14 years. Less than 2 minutes later, hat tricks on the power play now. Gennaro Frontuto, some nice hands in tight. And it's all tied up. Then late in the frame, here comes Friedman. All kinds of confidence after 2 goals the night before. How about that dipsy doodle? A beauty for his third pro goal and third of the weekend. Hat-tricks ended up scoring 3 unanswered and held the Wolves off the board the rest of the way in front of a neutral site crowd of 1,000. Taking a look at the standings, not only are the Bobcats in third place now, they have a 5-point lead on the Scarecrows in that spot. The hat-tricks playoff hopes are still alive. They're 9 back of Topeka. The Prowlers are trying to get closer to clinching home ice advantage in the first round of the playoffs, and second period action is coming up on the PHP Network.
to the new era of Prowlers hockey. New owner, new store, new horn, fire, projectors on the ice. Yeah, this isn't your dad's McMorrin experience. This is Prowlers hockey. Get your tickets for the show now at phprowlers.com/tickets.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
On Prowlers hockey. Shot. Back here at McMorrin Place, Prowlers with a 4-0 lead through 20 minutes of play against the Watertown Wolves. Will Wiggleman with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Let's take a look about what's going on around the FPHL. We start with our FPHL storylines presented by Thumb Rust Control. And some very interesting things here. I forgot to update all of the headshots here, but that's not Jake Cox, but Jake Cox was claimed off of waivers by the PD Ice Cats, 37 points in 49 games with Baton Rouge this season. Monroe Moccasins made a collegiate signing. Brad Summers from Adrian College, a top player in NCAA Division III. So another big piece for the Monroe Moccasins. And as we talked about, the Watertown Wolves do not have Igor Filipov and FM Michigan. They are away for visa-related reasons. Same for Gleb Van Durken and Danil Glukariev, according to the sources that I've talked to. Those two could potentially return to the Athens Rock Lobsters for the playoffs. Again, none of those pictures are correct. That is my fault. I will take the blame on that. But again, the information is correct, and they are your Thumb Rust Control FPHL storylines. To keep it going around the FPHL, lots more action going on. And we start with our out-of-town scoreboard presented by Love After Hours Boutique and Boudoir, with a scoreless game between the Danbury Hat-Tricks and the Binghamton Black Bears, as they are playing in Binghamton still in period 1. Actually, they have just finished up the first period against scoreless. Kyle Penton in net for the Hat-Tricks, Dominic Tomei for the Black Bears. Still playing in the first period in Virginia. It's 1-1 between the PD Ice Cats and the Blue Ridge Bobcats, as Elijah Wilson scored a penalty shot goal for PD. Nikita Kazirev responded with a power play goal for Blue Ridge. Down in Winston-Salem, about an hour and a half from that last place from Wytheville, Virginia, the Rock Lobsters have a 2-0 lead on the Thunderbirds. Eric Neely and the former Thunderbird Gus Ford had the goals for the Rock Lobsters, still playing in period 1. First period down in Columbus, Dragons have a 2-0 lead on the strength of goals from Ryan Hunter and Alex Storjahan. They will be dropping the puck momentarily at Ralph Engelstad Arena in Deep River Falls, Minnesota, the site of the future home of the Minnesota Northern Lights, an FPHL team coming into the league next year. And the Topeka Scarecrows will face off against the Indiana Sentinels there. Again, they're getting set to drop the puck in just a few moments. Same at the Mississippi Coast Coliseum as the Biloxi Breakers host the Baton Rouge Zydeco. Of course, here it's 4-0 Prowlers through 20 minutes of play. Outtown Scoreboard is presented by Love After Hours Boutique and Boudoir. Use code Prowlers for 15% off at Love After Hours. As the teams get set to hit the ice, let's take a look at our Gunther Graphics game stats. And the Prowlers heavily outshot the Watertown Wolves. The 4 goals is tied for the second most they've had in a single period this season. They have outscored Watertown 9-0 over the last 40 minutes of play between these teams, after putting up 5, which is a season high in any period, in the third period, the last time these teams met, back on March the 15th in Watertown. Again, the 4 goals, the most the Prowlers have put up in a first period this season. And they gave up just 3 shots doing it, tied for the second fewest they've given up in any single period this season, and tied for the fewest they've given up in a first period this year. They also killed off the only Watertown power play as the Wolves 0 for 1 on the man advantage. And a lot of that comes down to they're missing their 3 best players from the start of the season. Stephen Klink was traded earlier this year. He's now a member of the Topeka Scarecrows. And then this week, they lost their next 2 best players, in Igor Filipov and FM Michigan, for visa-related issues. And those guys really ran the show offensively for the Wolves for much of this year. They were already a one-line team, and then they lost that one line. It's going to be a struggle the rest of the way for the Wolves to score goals. A team that is not playoff bound, just trying to get through these last few weeks of the season and struggling here early in Port Huron. As you take a look at the Prowler bench, Ben Brockway is serving as somebody behind that bench. I don't want to officially call him an assistant coach because I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but Ben Brockway is hanging out on the bench along with Prowler Associate Head Coach Chris Bowen and Assistant Coach Alex Johnson. We're back underway here from McMorran Place as John Larkin starts it up for the Prowlers, gives it over to Nick Favaro. Larkin got his first pro point with an assist on Bobby Price's goal in that first period. Parmio's on Brett Lockhart's goal that Larkin got the assist. As icing called here against the Prowlers, just 25 seconds in. Now face-off will go all the way down to Prowler territory. Nick Favaro gave it up to DeCumbus. Popped up in the air, drops near Alexander, picked up by Corgan. Now it's Zimmerman, wheeling through the neutral zone, stops up, ran into Dietrich as he dumped it in. Marty pops it out to Millette. Right up the gut, Reggie Millette. As Marty heading towards the net, tried to give it there, but he was tied up with Hall. Dumped in off the back glass. Huber keeps it out away from danger. Now Millette gets into the offensive end. Dietrich tried to slide it back to Reggie Millette. Millette right back on it, turns the corner up top. One hands it over to Lockhart. Nice move to the net. Hakela, couldn't stuff it. Hakela back on that puck. It's on the back of the net. They finally rip it off. Samard back to his defense partner. That's Hunter Hall, who's back behind the cage, a forward for the Wolves. And Tim Morgan feeds it over to Matt Graham into the offensive end. His pass off of Benchich's skate. Graham gloves the puck down. Up to Lockney, 2-on-2 with Hakela. Lockney squeezes past the check, gets in front. Lockney tucked it, and a save. Gonzalez, puck still loose. They bat it around. It's behind the net. Lockney in front. Hakela stopped by Gonzalez. Now Graham tried to push it up to the point. Oregon pinched in, but it's chipped out by Fadiev. Federley, reverse for Oregon. Came all the way to Graham. He dumps it in, stick over to the corner by Rico Gonzalez. Lockney steps off the wall, batted behind the net. Price up top to Larkin. D-to-D, Favaro looks, shoots, and off a stick. And up out of play. Face off deep in Rico Gonzalez's end after that one. There's the chance earlier from Lucas Lockney. Great right pad save from Gonzalez, and you see a couple of chances Prowlers tried to jam away and just couldn't get anything on that rebound. This one bounced all the way down, comes on net, so no icing. Brad Ryder off to the right wing side. Ryder, the next one to touch as it was knocked down by a high stick. We'll get the face-off over just outside the Prowlers end between Ryder and Millette. Puck tossed behind the cage. Bucell up to Millette. Millette wheels in, taking a look, takes the shot, fought off by Gonzalez. And Grant Mentis was sent to the ice. McDonald battling with Dietrich. Ian McDonald had it stolen by Dietrich. Millette works his way up top. Millette risks it on goal, blocked by Henning. And Millette gets it again over to Parsons. Up to Jamie Bucell. Bounce the puck in deep. Millette getting after it. Lockney able to push it to Hakala. His shot blocked by Henning. Caught him in a sensitive area. Millette one-timer, great kick saved by Gonzalez. Henning still doubled over as he sent that puck all the way down. This is an icing against the Wolves, but I think they will let Dustin Henning get off the ice here. Hakala loaded it up and, ooh, yeah. That is a tough spot to take a shot, and they give Henning an exception. By the way, great pad save from Rico Gonzalez right after that. As the Prowlers go back to work off the faceoff, it's Oregon faking the blast, and Gonzalez looked behind him, and he had it between his legs. Oregon faked the shot, ended up going for a shot pass that Artu Hakala got a piece of. Shots 23-3 Prowlers. See Gonzalez looked behind, but he had it underneath. That line stays out for the Prowlers. Hunter Hall comes out to draw against Lockney. Zimmerman chased out by Hakala. Good stick by Oregon. And now Hakala able to poke it in. Dunford on it. Graham able to steal it out in front. Lockney turnaround shot blocked by Hall. Wolves can't get it out. Hakala down and around. Dunford kept it moving. Federley had it chopped out by Newman. Prowlers regroup in their own end. Federley over to Oregon. Up comes DeCumbus with Alexander, hands it off to him. Ryan Alexander, Larkin working in with a shot, fought off, and it bounded around. And Larkin has it again at the point. Couldn't get a shot all the way through. Larkin once more. How about another? Stop Gonzalez. Price. Larkin. Off to Favaro. Straight away. Favaro skates in. Fakes. Looking in front. And pushed out of danger. Grabbed by Bencic. Bencic gets the red line and dumps it in deep. John Larkin was bidding for his first pro goal. They stretch it ahead to Alexander. Now Price dangles, tripped up, gets back to his skates. Alexander tried to pass it off a stick. Comes all the way down towards Huber, who has not had many puck touches. He gets it up to Favaro. Now Millette over to Marty on his backhand. And Gonzalez able to hang on. 14:10 left to go in period number 2. Prowlers continuing to pressure. And Rico Gonzalez comes up with another stop. back here in Port Huron. Wonder what the Prowlers are drawing up here. This line has had a lot of success. Millette, Bucell, and Dietrich / Marty. Marty is out there right now. And he had an opportunity right before that TV timeout. There's Reggie Millette, 2 assists in that first period for him. And off the drop, Lockhart knocked down as he gloved the puck. Comes back to the line, Bucell over to Parsons. Wrist shot kicked out by Gonzalez. And up comes Watertown. But they couldn't handle the puck, that was Gilbert. Gilbert touches the puck again, this time he was offside as Malsagov put it back in the Prowlers zone. Looking for a pregame meal? Zip Sauce Burger is located in the Industrial Park Marathon. Zip Sauce, the official burger of the Port Huron Prowlers. Shots in this period, by the way, through 6 minutes and 15 seconds, 12-0 Prowlers. I can't believe that that is correct, but that is an insane number. Most shots the Prowlers have had in a single period this season is 24, so still lots of way to go, but lots of time to do it. Here they come again. Graham. Dietrich off his stick. Pekola, now Graham looking in front. Dietrich, one-timer, kicked out. Dietrich scores! A hat trick in his pro debut for Grayson Dietrich. And a few hats littering the ice here at McMorran Place. Couldn't get the first one to go, got his own rebound, and Rico Gonzalez has just been left out to dry by his team in this game. They got a few hats out there. We'll see if anybody can get their hats back. Saw a couple tossed back up here, but it's 5-0 Prowlers, 13-12 left in the second period. Grayson Dietrich all smiles there on the Port Huron bench. Officially signed today out of Niagara University. Had been practicing with the team earlier this week, but it wasn't announced officially until today. And boy, the Prowlers look like they have a few great players on their hands, and Grayson Dietrich certainly one of them. This is the most dominant I have seen the Port Huron Prowlers at any point this season. As the Wolves get called for the icing here. And I mean, that includes the game against the Wolves where the Prowlers put up 7, the game against the Blue Ridge Bobcats where the Prowlers put up 7. They are out shooting the Wolves 14-0 in this second period, which is just absurd, an absurd stat. A Jikache Watertown team that is down on its luck this season, down on its luck even more with losing their 2 best players, and a Prowlers team that's been invigorated with some high-profile collegiate signings this week. And this is what you get. Here's Larkin, one of those 3 signings. Spinning away from Grant Mentis. John Larkin to the net! Knocked down by Gonzalez. Caught him up high in the mask. Larkin over to Favaro. All the way ahead to Millette at the blue line. On a breakaway, he scores! Another for the Prowlers! This is unbelievable. I have never seen anything like this. This is my 4th season as the Prowlers broadcaster. I've never seen them dominate a team like this. Rico Gonzalez is heading to the bench in a merciful ending for Gonzalez, who has not been given much of a chance by his defense. Prowlers have been able to do whatever they want in this game, and Marshall McCallum will replace him. He's a collegiate signing himself, originally of the Binghamton Black Bears, but was claimed off waivers by the Wolves on March 14th, made his Wolves debut last weekend. He's 1-1 this season with 2.4 goals against average and a .928 save percentage after being signed out of UMass Dartmouth. And McCallum's one win came against the Wolves as a member of the Black Bears. Artu Heikola in the far corner. Cycles behind the cage. Graham tried to pop it out in front. Graham to the net and sticked away by McCallum. Hall steps in. He's taken in by Parsons. Tossed out. And John Larkin picks up another assist, as does Nick Favoro on the goal by Millette. Point night here at McMorran Place for the Prowlers. Bencic. That is stick lifted by Brett Lockhart. Ryan Alexander trying to get back to that puck. Sweeps it around the boards. Price down to Alexander. Back to Price. In front, Price! Oh my! The extra point is good. Prowlers can do whatever they want tonight. Bobby Price giving a lane right to Marshall McCallum. And how about the little shimmy shake? Stepping all the way around and chucking it home. Second of the night, 23rd of the year for Bobby Price. Wolves still don't have a shot in this second period. The Prowlers have 3 goals. 9:15 gone in it. Here's Heikola. Up top, Oregon a drive. That was blocked. Graham. And it poked behind the net. Lockney hunting it down. Ryan Alexander gets an assist as Barava put a little reverse hit on Lockney. Well, I believe that's the first pro point for Ryan Alexander, as Huber sees his first shot of the period. He sticks it up out of play. 10:17 left to go in the middle frame. My goodness, what can you say in a game like this? And the Prowlers have been spreading it around too. This hasn't been one guy or a few guys getting all the points. Grayson Dietrich and Reggie Millette have 3 apiece, but of the 18 Prowler skaters, 15 have a point so far in this game. Dylan Marty, Austin Federley, and Brian Parsons, the other 3, as Huber loves the attempt from Grant Mentis, the 5th shot of the game for the Watertown Wolves. That's right, 7 Prowler goals, 5 shots on goal for the Watertown Wolves. Here's Dietrich. Over for Larkin. He jumps in up on the play. Larkin peels back. Millette kicks it down deep. Ryder slid it over to Corrigan. Got it. Actually picked up that puck again. Ryder up to Grant Mentis. Tipped into the Prowler end, so no icing. Larkin tried to reverse, picked off. Here's Grant Mentis on his backhand. Peels away from Millette. Puck poked to Reggie Millette. McDonald hustling back to cut him off. Millette stops up. Bucell tried one more pass, but Favaro had pulled up at the blue line. Bucell knocked down. Favaro played it back into the offensive zone. Offside at the line. To say it's all Prowlers would be an understatement. I'm going to have to look up some synonyms and stronger words for that during this break. We'll be back on the PHP Network.
Hockey is like a business. One missed pass can derail the perfect plan. Have Taft Consulting help you get your whole team on the same page. They have the expertise to help you follow through on all your goals. Find out how they can help you today by emailing taftconsulting@outlook.com.
Explore 140 miles of stunning shoreline along Lake Huron in Michigan's Thumb Coast. Begin your adventure on a blanket of golden sand at one of our serene beaches. Connect with the historic atmosphere of our region's nautical influence and reconnect with friends under a blanket of stars. Plan your perfect getaway at bluewater.org.
Back here on the PHP Network, 7-0. Prowlers on top. Will, before the game, I was talking to one of the Prowlers and asked him how they thought it would go. He said, he thought they could get a jump on Watertown and they could take advantage of it. He undersold me. I cannot remember as thorough of a dominant performance through 30 minutes as this one in a long, long time. Will, I don't have to tell you, Prowlers are clicking on all cylinders. Back to you.
Well, Brady, you might not like this, but a game that comes to mind, and I know I said the same thing, but a game that comes to mind was after the last time the Prowlers brought in collegiate signings. Last season, they brought in the 4 trying guys. Here is one of them, Bobby Price, who has 2 goals in the game. Price driving the net, save McCallop, rebound there, and DeCumbus cleans it up. I guess I'll save that anecdote for when the Prowlers are done scoring goals. It's 8-0. Good drive by Price. A nice stick from Marshall McCallop, but the Wolves can't clear it, and DeCumbus followed up the play. Let's put it in the empty cage. Shots are 34-6 in favor of the Prowlers. And what I was alluding to was the last time the Prowlers brought in collegiate guys, they then went down to Fraser to visit the Motor City Rockers. It was late March, a year ago tomorrow actually. They scored 7 goals in that first period, eventually beat the Rockers 10-3 in that game. But that didn't feel like the domination that we have here. The shots were 19-6 after the first period, 14-14 in the second, and it felt like a more even game. The Prowlers are just getting the shots to go. This is different. This is something else. And if this is a preview of what the Prowlers can do heading into the Commissioner's Cup playoffs, look out. Well, the Prowlers are on the ice, that we know, and that means you should grab a glass of Proper 12 Irish whiskey. Proper 12, the official shot of the Port Huron Prowlers. Please drink responsibly. And I hope tonight is not the night that you have decided to do a shot for every goal the Prowlers score in this game with your Proper 12. And if you did do that, then please mix in a water or two, and I hope you're still with us. Here's Newman with a steal, missed the net. Newman thought about the wrap. It was taken away by Millette. Larkin, indirect pass up to Dietrich. Has Bucell heading towards the cage. Dietrich spun down. Barava touched in by Inlow. Wolves head off for a change. Favaro around to Larkin. Got his signals crossed with Bucell as he tried to make that pass ahead, but Marquis Grant-Mentis is back in offsides. Under 8 to go in period 2. it is 8-0. Off this face-off, Henning dumps the puck around, and Lockhart gets to it behind the net. Marty back for Lockhart. Prowlers, by the way, have already set a new season high in goals, and here they are looking for another. Marty, though, couldn't dangle around Corrigan, who got back. Previous high was 7. They did it twice. Once here at McMorran Place against the Blue Ridge Bobcats back in December. And the last time they faced these Wolves in Watertown, they scored 5 of those goals in the third period. Here they have 8, and we still have 7:15 left to go in the second. Lockhart slowing things down. Price gave it back to Brett Lockhart. Parsons ahead to Graham. Price wheeling in. Price with a sharp angle try, fought off by McCallum. Price turns the corner, makes another move. Right in front looking for Graham. It was fought off by Dunford. And a stick save made there by McCallum. Here's Lockney. Slovak down to Matt Graham. Taken away by Dunford. And now Hunter Hall skates out. Hall working on Federley. Able to sidestep the hip check attempt from Austin Federley. Lockney picks off a pass to the point. Lockney saucers it ahead, glove down by Fadiev. He dumps it back around. Morgan skates into it, he'll start up ice. Tim Morgan into the offensive zone, looking for a pass, has Millette. Had it knocked off his stick. Samard up to Malsagov. Walks in with a shot blocked. And Larkin goes into the corner with Inlow. Larkin off for Favaro. Now Lockney looking back towards Favaro. Bucell, Favaro alone! Stopped by McCallum. Not often you get a defenseman one-on-one against the goaltender. Marshall McCallum up to the challenge of Nick Favaro there. Newman looking and shooting. Whistled it wide on the blocker's side of Huber. Back on goal, sticked away by Huber. Favaro up towards Dietrich, got through him. Millette with Bucell. Millette, Bucell, whistled it wide. Newman off the boards and in, and it's flagged down by Brian Parsons. All the way up to Dietrich. 1-on-2. Dietrich drops the shoulder on Samard. Dietrich looking, chips it by his man and slipped it just wide along the ice. Newman had it picked off by DeCumbis. He's knocked down, back to his skates. Tried to drop it back for Alexander, that hit a Wolf. Lockhart ahead to Ryan Alexander. Dances in, Alexander towards DeCumbis. One more, Price! Topples over McCallum and into the net. Lockhart sent it back there, missed everybody. Parsons down towards Price, got through him. Samard to Grant Mentis. Back to Samard. Chris Corrigan couldn't play it off, and now Alexander's back in. Ryan Alexander tried to feed it across. Lockney, Graham overskated it as it hopped over his stick. They try and lead it ahead to Grant Mentis, hit a Prowler stick, so no icing. 4 minutes left to go in period 2. Graham able to touch it in. Bencic around towards Dunford. Fadiev spinning back. Dunford gets to the red line, fires it around. Oregon kept it moving. Here's Fadiev with a shot, gloved and held by Bailey Huber for his 8th save of the contest. 3:36 left to go in period 2. We'll step aside here on the PHP Network.
SMR Automotive Systems is part of the Motherson Group and a proud community sponsor of the Port Huron Prowlers. We are one of the largest manufacturers of rearview mirrors for passenger vehicles in the world, with local plants in Port Huron and Marysville. We strive to support our local communities and have positions available for various abilities and experience. Find out more about who we are at smr-automotive.com.
What's more authentic than a Hungry Howie's Detroit-style pizza? Nothing. We're not playing around with the pizza of our birthplace. Thick crust, cheese to the edge, sauce on the top. Where it belongs. We've seen a lot of fakes out there. Not here. This is authentic Detroit-style pizza. Order yours now online for $12.99. We sauce the top and rep for the 313 everywhere. We do bold.
Hungry
Howie's. Back here in Port Huron, the team in red is having a lot of fun tonight in front of their home fans. Grayson Dietrich, one of 3 NCAA Division I players making their pro debuts tonight. Dietrich has a hat trick, leading the Prowlers. The other 2, John Larkin has 2 assists, and Ryan Alexander has an assist as well. Austin Federley gets it ahead to Reggie Millette. McCallop with a blocker save. Just 3 of the 18 Prowler skaters have not gotten a point in this game so far. Federley, one of them. Drops it back to Organ. Puck knocked down. Here comes Bucell. Wheeling in. Bucell stepping around Zimmerman. Millette now. Up high to Larkin. Larkin walks, shoots. That went off traffic in front and over to the corner. Larkin steps up to keep the puck alive. Dietrich and Dunford after it. Millette behind the cage. Chased by Zimmerman. Up to Favaro. Down it goes. Hakala trying to get back to that puck. Fadiev came back for it. Favaro taps it down to Graham. Over to Larkin. Looking in front. Tipped and stopped by McCallop as R2. Hakala got a stick on it. 2:34 left to go in period 2. Prowlers with 4 goals in each of the first 2 periods. They tie it up along the half wall. Larkin back in neutral ice. Off to Favaro. Hakala battling. Here's Lockney stepping in. Lockney to the net. Save McCallop. Hakala for Lockney. Fed it all the way across to Larkin. John Larkin down behind the net to Graham. Looking in front, pinballed off a skate. Favaro pushing it right back deep. Favaro in front looking for Graham. Pinballed around. Lockney couldn't tuck it. And Inlow rescues the puck from danger. Favaro up to DeCumbis. Lockney works in. McCallop still without his goal stick. He didn't go out to get it after the puck left the zone. As DeCumbis tried to center, McCallop has it underneath. And he'll hang on for a whistle and a face-off. Well, coming up on the second intermission report right here on the PHP Network, we'll have highlights and analysis. We may have to extend the intermission to get all of the highlights in for you, but we will have them, as well as Keeley's Corner, out-of-town scores, and much more. It's all coming up here on the PHP Network. Lockhart for Alexander. Now DeCumbis. Back to Ryan Alexander, but Price was just a hair offside. We'll get a whistle and a face-off. There's the one from a little bit earlier as Lockney tried to tuck it. McCallop reached his glove out to stymie it, and Graham was crashing the crease. Tossed ahead. McDonald to Henning. Dustin Henning 1-on-5. Able to chip the puck down deep and head after it. Out come the Prowlers. Millette over towards Bucell on the right wing side. Grant Mentis up the boards. Ryder took a check from Millette. Now Marty back down the wall. Bucell behind the net. Try to bounce it up top to Organ. He steps up to keep the puck alive, but only for a moment. Here comes Ryder. At the red line, he dumps it around. Federley kept it moving. Bucell, Organ, up towards Marty. He has to chase back after it. And now Federley back in his own end with 15 to go in the period. Lead pass for Lockney. Sends it into Watertown territory. Zimmerman for Dunford. Long pass up to Grant Mentis. He runs out of time though. 4 in the first, 4 in the second. It's utter domination, 8-0 for the Port Huron Prowlers. You will not believe me if I tell you the shots on goal, but I will do it anyway. In that second period, 28-5 in favor of the Prowlers. Yes, that's a new season high, 28 shots in the second period. And for the game, 43-8. 3 players making their pro debuts tonight. One of them we talked to in the first intermission, Grayson Dietrich. He has a hat trick so far. John Larkin is another. He has 2 assists. He's standing alongside Brady Beaton.
Brady Beaton down here on the ice with John Larkin, one of the newest Prowlers. John, obviously things are going well for you guys. How have you felt you fit in and meshed with the guys through 2 periods?
Yeah, I think the guys have been great in the locker room, on the ice, a lot of talk, kind of being there for me, and they made the adjustment really easy to the pro level.
Being up 8-0, does that help quell the nerves a little bit about making the transition and making maybe an easier transition than, in a tight game?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is never taking that foot off the pedal. It's a tough league. Every night you want to fucking compete all 3 periods, so I think it's really important that we just keep going, even though the score is 8-0.
What are you looking to do personally, maybe in the 3rd period that you weren't doing in the first 2?
I think it's just building off the game, off my game, moving the puck well, getting shots through, and shutting down the rush.
John, I appreciate it. Good luck in the 3rd.
Yeah, thank you.
Will, back to you.
I think we might have to media train those guys. John Larkin, one of the newest Prowlers, 2 assists tonight in his pro debut. Well, once again, coming up in the second intermission report right here on the PHP Network, we'll have highlights and analysis, our latest edition of Keeley's Corner, out-of-town scores, and much more. All of that coming up right here on the PHP Network. Well, secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game. That's tomorrow. And if you like what you see tonight, come see it live. 6:05 p.m. It's Pucks and Pups night and Paw Patrol night here at McMorran Place. Prowlers will be wearing specialty Paw Patrol themed jerseys that will be auctioned off after the game to benefit the Blue Water Area Humane Society. You can also bring your pup to the game. So dog tickets are available at the door. Please bring a record of updated vaccinations with you, along with a waiver that is available on the McMorran website. It's also been posted on the Prowlers social media channels, so be sure to bring that waiver. If you don't have that waiver, you'll just have to do it when you get here, and that holds up the line. That holds you up from getting in, so be sure to do it in advance and bring it out as you bring your dog out to McMorran Place for Pucks and Pups nights featuring Paw Patrol. Get your tickets at phprowlers.com/tickets if you're a human. And you can also call the McMorran box office at 810-985-6166. You can also try and scan that QR code on your screen now. It's online, phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166. Scan that QR code on your screen now to see the show at McMorran Place. Prowlers and Prowlers are the aggressors in this game. It's 8-0 Port Huron through 40 minutes. We'll be back here on the PHP Network.
Come on, guys, hop in.
We're not getting in that thing. That thing's gross.
Yeah, I wore my nice pants today. This thing could use a detail.
Well, I don't know. Do you know anybody who could detail a boat?
I think that guy could.
Hi, I'm Logan from Ballard's Detail. I can detail your boat.
From oxidized and faded to smooth and glossy, our professional compounding and waxing process will get your boat looking new again. Contact us today at 810-956-8318. Visit us on Facebook at Ballard's Detail LLC.
SMR Automotive Systems is part of the Motherson Group and a proud community sponsor of the Port Huron Prowlers. We are one of the largest manufacturers of rearview mirrors for passenger vehicles in the world, with local plants in Port Huron and Marysville. We strive to support our local communities and have positions available for various abilities and experience. Find out more about who we are at smr-automotive.com.
Hello, I'm home.
There he is.
What is happening?
Relax. We won. They brought back the snack wrap. Spicy or ranch?
Spicy.
Yeah, go. Just one little bite.
Can you stop?
Oh, sorry.
Gather your crew. Snack wrap is back.
This isn't working. LJ, pass me those flyers.
No look behind the back pass. It's a whole play. I'll say, come on. Gap up. Close the gap. Close the gap. What are we saying? This isn't working. We need a shift change. Let's bring in the professionals.
Head over to the Birchwood Mall for your shopping and entertainment needs. Hop on the carousel, shoot some hoops, or visit some of their great stores such as Gerlach's Woodworks, where they specialize in handcrafted wooden decorations. Add to your fan cave a Prowlers theme creation. Upgrade your bathroom at Luxury Bath Mobility Remodelers. They can fully customize your bath or shower to fit your needs, and they also do flooring. For the sports fan in your life, pick up a unique gift from Pro Edge Sports. Jam-packed with all kinds of memorabilia. There's something for everyone. And it's not a trip to the mall without Auntie Anne's pretzels. Grab a freshly made full-size cup of pretzel bites and wash it down with some frozen lemonade. At the Birchwood Mall, you can find this and more. Visit them on 24th Ave in Fort Gratiot.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hi guys, we just stopped at Industrial Park Marathon to get some fuel and some snacks before the Prowlers game at McMorran.
Nice. Yeah, we just stopped by here at Industrial Park Marathon so I can get a Slurpee before the game.
Wait till after the game. If the Prowlers score 3 or more goals, Slurpees will be free.
Thanks for the info. I'm going to get my Slurpee after, but we'll see you at the Prowlers game.
See you at the game. Go Prowlers!
Yeah, I don't know about this one, fellas.
Boys, we don't overcome adversity by backing down. But yeah, I don't know about this one.
That's reassuring.
We're so screwed.
All right, boys. Here's the game plan. LJ, you start with bananas. B-Way.
Wait, why do I have to do the bananas?
Because you're the softest on the team.
I don't want the bananas.
This thing is going to melt. We got to hurry up.
I won't do it.
Okay, both of you. I will do the bananas and the whipped cream. Fets, please continue.
Who's paying for this anyway?
I am. I just bought my tickets for the Prowlers game this weekend, and the Milk House gave me 25% off my order.
Fets, why'd you buy the tickets? You're literally on the team.
For the discount.
So are you all ready to give it a try?
Oh, we're ready.
It's true. Get 25% off your entire order at the Milk House, October through April. Simply show your ticket stubs at checkout and enjoy your discounted treat.
Well, back here at McMorran Place, it is 8-0 Prowlers through 40 minutes of play. Prowlers are on pace to not only tie their record for the most goals in a single game, which is 12, They are also on pace to surpass their largest margin of victory in franchise history, which is 10. Both of those came during the 2017-18 season. Well, let's try and take you back through the goals as quick as we can for the Prowlers so far. And, it took a few shifts. Grayson Dietrich talked about it after the first period. Took a few shifts for them to get into it, but here's Dietrich with his first pro goal, high glove on Rico Gonzalez. After Reggie Millette picked off a pass in the neutral zone with his glove, Dietrich gets goal number 1. And less than 5 minutes later, how about another for Dietrich as Millette makes things happen. He was surrounded, peeled off to the wall, got it across to Jamie Bussell, and the rebound right there for Dietrich to tap home. 2 goals for Dietrich, and the Prowlers were not done in that first period. 2.5 minutes later, it was Brett Lockhart, a collegiate signing a couple of years ago, taking a shot, went off the iron and hit Hunter Hall. Get a good look here as Lockhart was able to walk down the face-off circle, off the post, off of Hall, and Lockhart gets on the board. And another former collegiate signing wrapped up the first period scoring. That's Bobby Price, fired down the left wing side. High blocker on Rico Gonzalez. And if you don't know the power of collegiate signings, boy, did you see it in that first period. Again, past and present, Lockhart and Price, both former collegiate signings from the past couple of seasons. Of course, Dietrich, one of the collegiate signings this year. The Prowlers were rolling through 20 minutes of play. They did not let up in the second as Grayson Dietrich got his hat trick goal, stopped on the first chance, put home the second, and Dietrich in his pro debut with the Hattie. Nice kick save from Gonzalez on the first try, but Gonzalez was left hung out to dry by his team. They had to pick up some hats on the ice here at McMorran as Dietrich made it 5-0 at that point. Just over a minute later, Prowlers were able to stretch it on for Reggie Millette, who was hanging out at the Watertown blue line, caught the Wolves in a change, and Millette to the backhand on Marshall McCallum, on Rico Gonzalez. This was the end of the night for Gonzalez as he gave up 6 goals on 25 shots. Again, not really much he could do in this game as he was getting absolutely peppered. Marshall McCallum came in. It didn't matter. Just over a minute after that, they got another. This time it was Price with his second as Ryan Alexander picked up his first pro assist. The primary helper on that one, you see Alexander giving it out to Price. Little shimmy shake to the net and the chuck around McCallum. And it was 7-0. That was the extra point for the Prowlers. They decided to go for the 2-point conversion 2 minutes later. Price driving the net, looking for his third. And a juicy rebound cleaned up by Vinny DeCumbis. Prowlers did not get a goal in the final 9 minutes of that second period, for whatever that's worth. Their longest stretch without a goal since the first 9:48 of the game. And Port Huron just absolutely dominating this one, 8-0. Let's take a look at the Gunther Graphics game stats. And yeah, you won't believe this, but it is true. The Prowlers have the same number of goals through 40 minutes as the Wolves have shots on goal. They're out shooting Watertown 43-8. Just one penalty has been called in the game. And the Prowlers were able to kill that off back in the first period when the game was somewhat close, we will say. But it has been all Prowlers so far through this one, and I'm just scrambling to the record books here, try and find everything that I can on the all-time performances from a Prowlers perspective. And I'm hitting up the season program, which is available on the Prowlers website under the media tab, phprowlers.com. 156 pages of not only current Prowlers player bios and the like, but also Prowlers history, FPHL history is packed in there as well. Please go check it out. I spent my summer on this project. I looked through every single box score in Prowlers history to try and find things, and I'm probably going to do that again this summer to add more to it. But I've been searching through our media guide, and things that I found here. Well, first, the most goals the Prowlers have scored in a game is 12. They did that on February 4th, 2018, on the road against the North Shore Knights in a 12-5 win. Their largest margin of victory came later that month against the Cornwall Aces on the road. They won that game 11-1, so 10 is the largest margin of victory for the Prowlers. But again, it's that kind of night, a stat night for everybody, where we are combing the record books to try and find anything that we can. Now, I will say this, I don't think they're going to reach their shots on goal all-time record, which is 96. I don't believe anybody is going to be doing that, but I mean, the most goals in a game by a Prowler is 4. Most assists in a game is 5. Now, Grayson Dietrich 1 goal away from tying the most goals in a game by a Prowler, which again is 4. That has been done 4 times by 3 players. Mike Moroso, Chris Levier did it twice, and Ahmed Mahfouz did it as well. I do not know the fewest shots on net the Prowlers have ever given up in a game, but I mean, we are probably on track to get close to that. And while I continue to comb through the record books, we will take a timeout. When we come back, we'll have Keeley's Corner, upcoming schedule, out-of-town scores, and start period 3. It's all coming up next on the PHP Network.
Welcome to the new era of Prowlers hockey. New owner, new store, new horn, fire, projectors on the ice. Yeah, this isn't your dad's McMorrin experience. This is Prowlers hockey. Get your tickets for the show now at phprowlers.com/tickets.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PHProwlers, and Twitter at PHProwlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
On Prowlers hockey is presented by Prowlers shot. Well, back here at McMorrin Place, getting set for the start of period number 3. And, well, here's a nice little glimpse at that season program that is available on the Prowlers website under the media tab. Available for free. There are some all-time season records for the Prowlers. And if you go to the next page, you'll get the single game records for the Prowlers. And there's some nice pictures from the franchise record 106 penalty minute game against the Motor City Rockers on New Year's Eve 2023. Well, let's take a look. Instead of looking at the past, let's take a look at what's next for the Prowlers. This will be our Keeley's Corner, presented by Full Metal Mel. It's the Prowlers' upcoming schedule. And after this one, they will have another against the Watertown Wolves here at McMorrin Place, 6:05 tomorrow night. And that is Pups and Pups Night, presented by, featuring Paw Patrol. We'll have another coaches show on the first day of April, this upcoming Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. at Wings, etc. And then the Prowlers hit their final road trip of the regular season. They visit the Binghamton Black Bears and the Danbury Hat Tricks next week. Both of those games will be here on the PHP Network. Now let's take a look at what's going on elsewhere in the FPHL, where I'm sure there are fewer goals. As we look at the out-of-town scoreboard presented by Love After Hours Boutique and Boudoir. How about this? Still scoreless in Binghamton between the Hat Tricks and the Black Bears. Shots just 21-10 in favor of Binghamton, as Kyle Penton and Dominic Tomei have done their jobs so far. So See if we get a goal there at some point. PD Ice Cats up 3-1 on the Blue Ridge Bobcats as they play in the second period in Virginia. Vadim Frolov and Alexander Laikov have added goals for PD as they opened up a 2-goal lead. The Thunderbirds have cut into the Rock Lobsters lead down in Winston-Salem. Second period, it's now 2-1. Nate Keeley with the most recent goal for Twin City. It's now 4-2 Columbus as Andrew Ballant scored twice. Those goals sandwiched, ones from Bradley Fortin and Tyler Barrow for Columbus. So Ballant has both for the Moccasins. Late stages second period, it's 4-2. Up in Minnesota, Thief River Falls, the neutral site games. The first one of the weekend, Topeka and Indiana are tied at a goal apiece. Stephen Klink scored 131 in for the Scarecrows. Corey Cunningham has the other for the Sentinels. Finally, down on the Gulf Coast, the Biloxi Breakers have a 3-1 lead on the Baton Rouge Zydeco. And Eric Alexenian opened the scoring for the Zydeco. Ross Bartlett, Hugo Koch, and Matthew Horan have the others for the Breakers. Of course here, that is not a typo. It is 8-0 for the Prowlers against the Watertown Wolves. Outtown Scoreboard is presented by Love After Hours Boutique and Boudoir. Use code Prowlers for 15% off at Love After Hours. Well, before we start this third period, for those of you just joining us and expecting to see the Gunther Graphics game stats at the end of the intermission as usual, let's take one last look at the Gunther Graphics game stats once again through 40 minutes of play. Again, it is 8-0. Shots are 43-8 in favor of the Prowlers. And again, just the one penalty in this game came all the way back in the first period. 14:41 in. It was only a 2-0 game at that point. Now, of course, the Prowlers have added 6 more since then, and a Prowlers team is averaging 3.3 goals per game this season, has exploded for its most in a single game this season. Still 20 minutes left to go. The Watertown Wolves have to hit the ice again as they try to find something here in this third period, something positive. Fans here at McMorran Place have been treated to an absolute domination from the fellas in red heading out onto the ice right now. Led out by Bailey Huber, who has not had much to do this evening. He stopped all 8 shots that have come his way. On the other side, Marshall McCallum is in between the pipes for the Watertown Wolves. 10 saves on 12 shots since coming in relief of Rico Gonzalez during that second period. Look at that. Little split camera action. We get both our goaltenders getting the goal crease ready. The creativity is off the charts every night here on the PHP Network. Shout out to the entire crew. Always finding something new to put on this broadcast. I thought there wasn't anything new to put on the broadcast about 10 things ago, and they keep finding more. So shout out to our great crew here on the PHP Network that have elevated this broadcast to new heights this season. Reggie Millette and Brad Ryder at the face-off dot to start off period number 3, and we are underway. They stretch it on to Millette, fought off by Ryder, tried to go back to Dietrich, and if he was left-handed, or if he was right-handed, pardon me, that would have been right on his tape. Here's Dietrich sending it off the corner glass. Dunford and Bucell come together. This one tossed out. Ryder had it taken by Lockhart. Lockhart, now Ryder tried to sweep it in front. Here comes DeCumbus, firing ahead. Off to Dietrich, back to DeCumbus, working in. McCallum the save, rebound sits there. And finally grabbed by Zimmerman. Grant Mentis wheels in, sidesteps most of a check from Brett Lockhart. Parsons couldn't push it out. Now he gets it to Dietrich. Dietrich dumps it in, heads off for a change. Price trying to take it from McDonald. Couple of Wolves in there. Fadiev couldn't bring the puck in. Around to the near side it comes to Bencic. He and Price get there together. Varava slid it ahead, bounced back by Lockhart. Varava had some trouble with it. Graham takes over and the Prowlers regroup. Federley tossed ahead to Alexander. Now Lockney stepping in. He took a stick to the midsection, it looked like. Lockney went spilling. He was looking for a penalty, he didn't get one, as it's dumped back in by Watertown. Oregon, long lead pass taken away. And that's the one thing we have not seen since the Prowlers have signed these new guys who are all making their pro debuts tonight. As Tim Morgan sent Tyler Inlow's stick over the glass and into the seats. Here come the Prowlers. Graham, Lockney kicks it up to his skate in front, looking for Hakala. That didn't work. But the one thing we haven't seen for the Prowlers yet is this new look power play. And I'm interested to see. I was watching them practice it throughout the week, but should be interesting to see with the full complement of guys how it looks in a real game situation. But the Wolves have not taken a penalty yet in this game. Here's Millette. Ducking past Henning. Millette to the net cage. Had it knocked off his stick. Marty came in to throw a check on Ryder. Millette up at the top. Lets it go, and getting a piece of it was McKellop. Larkin to Millette. Works in, waits for help, flips it towards the cage, punched up out of play by Marshall McKellop. 3 minutes gone in period 3. The Prowlers have not yet scored a goal, but they are up 8-0. There's another look at Oregon lifting Inlow's stick, and hang on to your stick, dude. And keep a tight 2 hands on that twig, or else it might go into the crowd. That stick, by the way, did make it back to the Watertown bench, in case you were wondering. This puck slid all the way down to Bailey Huber. Gets it off to the side to Federley. Grant Mentis up a steal. Grant Mentis takes Federley out. Federley now swings it up to Alexander. Ryan Alexander into the offensive zone, and Zimmerman takes over. DeCumbis causing some trouble on the forecheck. He's ridden down by Zimmerman. Corgan cuts in, gets to the offensive zone, tried to dump it in. That was blocked by Hakala. Hakala looking to start a rush. They get it ahead to Graham. Has Lockney joining him. Gave it there. Lockney stopped by McKellop, who gets on top to cover. Prowlers up to 45 shots in this game, 9 away from breaking their season high of 54, which they set back in November against the Blue Ridge Bobcats. They had 107 shots in 2 games against the Bobcats that weekend, 54 and 53 in the 2 games. Fadiev spun off the boards. Now Hall fires the puck around, almost hit the referee. Bencic centering feed, taken away by Hakala. Lockney back for Favaro. Favaro starts ahead. Nick Favaro fighting off checks. Favaro trying to get through, and eventually the entire Wolfpack was around him and he couldn't keep dangling. Huber able to glove a long-range try from Hunter Hall, and he'll get a whistle and a face-off. Just over 4.5 gone in period 3. We'll get a face-off down in Huber's end, who, again, has not had much to do this in this game. Oregon. Plays it up. Henning able to keep it in, but only for a moment. Bussell surrounded. Dietrich tried to skate in. Now back behind his net is McDonald. The fewest shots Bailey Huber has seen this season is 14. That was down in Topeka. That was back in November. And he may have gotten stiffed a few shots in that game, but that is the fewest he has officially seen this season. Only 9 on the board right now as Brian Parsons shot off of McCallop's glove and wide. High flip out, flag down by Lockhart. He turns right up to Millette. Dietrich wheeling in. Dietrich a shot, stopped by McCallop. Dietrich trying to get back to it. Instead it's Zimmerman. Tossed all the way down. Huber plays it off for Parsons. Wrapped around to Marty. Up towards Price, chips it by his man, has to come this with him. Price spins back, waits for help. Price still moving, got it off to Parsons. To the net, save McCallop as Marty was driving the back post. Lockhart walks in with a shot, and McCallop another save. Price around the net, turnaround try, and there's the hat trick for Bobby Price. Good thing some people got their hats back because they're going right back out there. Bobby Price with his third of the night. How about the wheel around the net for Price and high glove. Second hat trick of the year for Price. We have a late straggler out there as kids are out to clean up the hats. $13.53 still to go. Prowlers 1 from double digits. Now the only question is, who's the first star of the game? I don't want to be the one who has to make that decision, but it might end up falling on me. We'll see. Here they come again. Hakala stepping around Samard. R2 Hakala bounced up top to Larkin. Puts it on net, blocked. Hakala gets back to it, and now Bencic. Varava slipped it through to Hall. Poked off his stick. I believe this play was offside at the Port Huron line, or possibly a hand pass. Either way, it's whistled down as Brian Parsons and Brett Lockhart pick up the assists on the goal by Bobby Price. Take a timeout. 9-0 Prowlers.
Hi, what can I get for you?
I'd like some McMorrin fries, please.
All right, that's going to be $4. Okay.
She shoots, she scores with the new Prowlers debit card.
Don't you have somewhere to be? The game's on.
Get your Prowlers debit card only at Flagship Community Federal Credit Union, located on Lapeer Road in Port Huron. Flagship Federal Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA. Hey, there's our DJ, Jim McPhee. DJ Jim up on the big board here at McMorrin Place. Prowlers have a big lead here. Jim has gotten to play that goal horn and pump it up a lot tonight as the home side up by 9. Dustin Henning up to Inlow. Now Bobby Price back to Favaro. Larkin off of Inlow's stick. Newman, Price takes over for the Prowlers, and now it's Alexander. Try to dangle around Henning. Price wheeling in around the net. Here's Bobby Price looking in front at both Larkin and Alexander driving the crease, looking for their first pro goals. Here's DeCumbus with a shot kicked out by McCallum. McDonald slid it ahead. Federley retreats in his own end, his team in the midst of a change, and they send Reggie Millet's line back over the boards. Dietrich, 1-on-3, here he comes. Dietrich had his stick lifted, bounce it up top to Organ. Federley floats it down. Bucell muscles off Ryder, trying to get back to that puck. Dunford played it out, comes all the way out of the zone back to Prowler ice. Brian Dunford, the 38-year-old, has played parts of 6 seasons in the FPHL, dating all the way back to the inaugural season in 2010-11. As Millet's shot stopped, came back in front, Dietrich has 4! Prowlers have 10 on the board. And Grayson Dietrich in his pro debut has tied a franchise record with 4 goals in the game. There's the first shot from Millet. Tim Organ put it back on net, kind of fanned on it. That threw McCallum off. And Grayson Dietrich has another. Prowlers score 10 for the first time since last season when they did it against the Motor City Rockers. Arian Benčić out of the zone. Parsons battling with Fadiev. Lockhart trying to feed it across. Takes a hit from Fadiev. Here comes Hall. Hall surrounded. Benčić with a shot fought off by Huber. Turnaround try by Fadiev, sticked up out of play by Bailey Huber. It is double digits for the Port Huron Prowlers. Call Fraser Building at 810-364-2766 or visit FraserBuildingCompany.com for all of your construction needs. From thought to finish, together we build a home. Well, the fans are letting the Wolves know what's going on. An absolute bloodbath here at McMorran Place. And not in the typical way you would describe a Prowlers game. Still just 2 penalty minutes up on the board. Here's Price with a hat trick in the game. Looking across, and it goes in. Not sure if that's DeCumbus' goal or Price's, but the Prowlers have 11. Price tried to pass it across to Alexander. This might be Price's 4th. Indeed it is. That hit Farava's skate. So now Bobby Price and Grayson Dietrich have tied the Prowlers record with 4 goals in a single game. If anyone is tuning in for their first game, this doesn't normally happen. I have to go back. I will have to do a lot of research to find out the last time the Prowlers scored 11. I know they scored 12 once. That was back in the 2017-18 season. Archidran Mentis Over towards Corgan. Missed him. Millette off the side of the net. Federley up to Jamie Bucell. Wires the puck across to Oregon. Prowlers back in. Oregon chips it around his man. Oregon down towards Millette, got past him. Now it's Samard. Left wing side. Barava, Corgan. Halfway through the third period. Only 10 minutes left, Wolves fans. Dietrich for Parsons. Lead pass. Millette has Hakela going to the net. Couldn't find him with the pass. I think Hakela heard footsteps from Fadiev coming off the bench. Took his eye off the puck for a moment. Lockhart. Parsons walks in with a shot blocked out of play by Dustin Henning. We'll take a timeout. 11 on the board for the Prowlers. One shy of a franchise record. Will they get there? You'll have to tune in to find out.
Discover everything banking should be with Advia Credit Union, like earning real financial advantages. You can earn up to $1,000 with your new account. Plus, save an average of nearly $4,000 in interest when refinancing. Get started with a low-rate credit card balance transfer. Enjoy easy access to your money anytime, anywhere. Make the switch today at adviacu.org/real people. Advia Credit Union. Real advantages for real people.
Back here on the PHP Network, and no, your eyes are not deceiving you. 11-0 Port Huron on top. If you're curious at home, I would call it the modern record for the FPHL. Back on November 29th, 2019, Carolina scored 14 against the Battle Creek Rumblebees. Gone, but not always forgotten, the Rumblebees. The all-time Fed record, Berlin once scored 19 against the short-lived Steel City team. Will, I don't know if we'll get to 19, but the 11 have sure been fun. Back to you.
Well, I've said it a couple of times. May not get to the Fed record, but hey, we may get to a Prowlers record. The Prowlers can get one more. They can tie that record. Right now, they are on pace. If the score stays the way it is, this will be the largest margin of victory in Prowlers history. Favaro taken away. Fadiev chases after the puck. 5 red sweaters all back. And Vladimir Fadiev couldn't make a play. And it has been on both sides of the ice, of course. The Prowlers have not given Watertown really a chance against Bailey Huber. And Huber has done what he's had to do, and as Newman couldn't turn the puck on goal, but the Prowlers have played good defense as well. It's not like they've scored 11 goals and given up odd man rushes. You see 3 Prowlers back now, 4 and 5 defending this rush. It's Newman up top, had a shot blocked by Jamie Bucell, and again in an 11-0 game, both Bucell and Marty got in the shooting lane. Newman. Now Federley able to take it away, sent it ahead, dumped back in by Watertown. There are only 4 Wolves on the ice right now. Now Brad Ryder steps over the boards to make it 5. Oregon flies in, drops it. Price, how about 5? Hit a body on the way through. Alexander. Twisting and turning, went down to a knee. And now Corgan for Grant Mentis. Gets the red line, dumps it around. Lockhart keeps it moving. Lockhart for Parsons. Lockney all the way across to Alexander. Back for Lockney. Lockhart walks in. Nice move, but couldn't bring the puck with him. And back the other way comes Grant Mentis. 1-on-3. And a nice poke by Brian Parsons takes it off of Marquis Grant Mentis' stick. 7 minutes left to go in an 11-0 game. 11 Prowler goals, 11 Wolves shots. Lockney looking in front. He was cut off, and back the other way comes Hall. Benčić with a shot blocked up by Favaro. Favaro has Dietrich behind everybody. Fresh off the bench, got it to him. Dietrich spins away from some defenders. Tried to feed a pass across, cut off by Benčić. He thought he would have Fadiev moving up ice, but Fadiev dropped his stick, and that results in an icing. CJ's Bar and Grill keeps the kitchen open until 1 a.m. and gives you a 10% discount for wearing Prowlers gear on a home game day. It's the perfect place for all of your post-game celebrations. Lots of celebrating here at McMorran Place tonight. And if you're just joining us from another game because you thought a score on the FPHL website was a typo, I'm here to tell you it is not. I saw it all live. And the Prowlers are still hunting for more. This is a Prowlers team that's prided itself on never taking the foot off the pedal. And that's something that's going to be important come playoff time, because we've seen teams make comebacks in the playoffs. Heck, the Prowlers did it twice in their first round series against the Danbury Hat-Tricks last year. They trailed 2-0 to the Hat-Tricks in both Game 1 and Game 3, came back to win both and win that series. Again, a best-of-3 series. They trailed in all 3 games and won 2 of them. Faceoff will be all the way down in Huber's end. Ryan Alexander will take the faceoff against Tyler Inlow. Gilbert lined up right behind Inlow, but Alexander wins the draw back, tried to get back to the puck. Inlow up the wall. Gilbert tried to cycle it back down low. Gilbert with a shot from the outside. That pops up out of play. We have some fans of the broadcast down there in Section 9. So I think they've chanted for everybody else in the building. They'll turn their attention up here to the broadcast booth. Huber covers this one. Still 1 shot on goal shy of the season high for the Prowlers. They're up to 53 in the game, outshooting the Wolves 10-3 in this third period. Henning to the net, it goes in. Long range wrist shot from Dustin Henning, and the Wolves captain gets them on the board. Second of the year for the FPHL's active games played leader. This is game number 519 for Henning, as he just found a spot through the traffic. That was a seeing eye shot that beat Bailey Huber to the blocker side. So now all ones up on the board, 11-1. And now the Prowlers on pace to tie their largest margin of victory in franchise history. That was also an 11-1 game. Still 5:22 left to go in this one. Grant Mentis. 3 Wolves moving up on offense as Grant Mentis lost it to Parsons. Hakala up toward Dietrich and off of his stick. Prowlers seem to be trying all kinds of line combinations, and why not in a game like this? Curious to hear what Coach Paulin has to say about it. Here comes Hakala with a break on the backhand. He was muscled down to the ice, and it's swept up top. Parsons, Lockhart steps in with a drive. He scores! A franchise record tying 12th for the Port here on Prowlers. How about the second of the night as well for Brett Lockhart? Fans don't even know what to do with themselves here. It's just a blast through the traffic from Lockhart. Top shelf. Get a good look at it here on the reverse angle. There it is. Pick the corner. And the 54th shot of the game for the Port Huron Prowlers. Finds the back of the net, like 11 of the first 53. Fadiev took a bump from Lockney, shot on goal, ends up in the corner. Alexander couldn't chip it by Zimmerman. Here's Benchich with a shot over top of the net. Ball behind the cage, collapsed on by Graham. Up to Zimmerman, lets it go, stick save Huber, and he elects to gather it back in and cover up. A dozen on the board for the Prowlers. Could they make it a baker's dozen and set a new franchise record? Stick around to find out on the PHP Network.
Discover 1195 Gastropub in Marysville. Burgers, pizzas, apps, and pub favorites like filet mignon and grilled salmon. Open Monday to Friday, 4 to 9 p.m., weekends 12 to 9 p.m. Join us for happy hour, Monday to Thursday. Enjoy half-off bottles of wine every Wednesday, and don't miss Thirsty Thursday with $4 draft beers. Great food, cold drinks, good times. That's 1195 Gastro Pub.
It's time to wake up on the sunrise side of Michigan. Wake up to beautiful beaches. Wake up to vibrant urban landscapes. Wake up to unique eats. Wake up to charming coastal towns. Wake up to cozy entertainment. Wake up to Michigan's Thumb Coast. Plan your perfect wake-up call using bluewater.org.
We invite you to tune into our next broadcast when the Prowlers and Wolves do it again. That is tomorrow, Saturday, March the 28th, as we'll have a 6:05 p.m. puck drop, 5:50 pregame show. It's all right here on the PHP Network. Offensive zone face-off here for the Wolves. 4:12 left to go in this beatdown. Prowlers have tied a franchise record for goals in a game by a team, and two separate Prowlers have tied the franchise record for individual goals in a game. Grayson Dietrich and Bobby Price, who each have 4. Price has 5 points tonight with 4 goals and an assist. Dietrich 4 goals. Brett Lockhart 2 goals, 2 assists. And Reggie Millette a goal and 3 assists. Here's Hakala, stopped by McCallop as Dietrich was looking for his first pro helper. 16 of the 18 Prowler skaters found the score sheet tonight, and that is officially a new season high in shots on goal for the Prowlers. They're 55th of the night. The most dominating performance in quite some time from the Port Huron Prowlers. And again, not just on the scoreboard, but just in play. The Wolves had the same number of shots on goals. The Prowlers had goals at points in the third period. There's Lockhart. Over to Lockney, left wing side with room. Lockney works in, tried to center. Gilbert handed off. Graham trying to sweep it in front, couldn't do it. Now Parsons. Lockhart muscle to the boards with Ryder. There's Parsons. Try to slide it ahead. Varava pinched down the boards. Bucell makes a move around Ryder. Here comes Jamie Bucell with 2.5 to go. Bucell keeps on chugging. Put it around the net. Alexander grabs it away from Samard. Millette picks the puck off. Across to Larkin. Walking in with a shot. Save McCallop. Alexander on it. Taking a look. Hands it off. Marty flying in. Off the board. score! Hit the glove and the crossbar as Dylan Marty was looking for his first of the game. And now Grant Mentis takes the puck, but played right into the linesman. Alexander's going right back in, but Millette wasn't out of the zone. Now McDonald after Alexander. He shot it after the whistle. Marty jumps in to join in. McCallum's involved. It's a full brawl. Everybody throwing punches. Tecumseh trying to get after Grant Mentis. McCallum is in the corner. Part of the scrum. Bailey Huber is still in his goal crease. Well, we were waiting for everything to break loose. In a game like this, the way the last game between these teams ended, it's only a matter of time, and Marquise Grant Mentis is being sent off the ice. All of this came after an offsides call. There's Ryan Alexander, who ended up taking the shot a little after the whistle. Ian McDonald took exception. Really the first fight we've seen from the Watertown Wolves in this game. And it ended up being a everybody involved, all hands on deck. Fight in the corner. There's McDonald. Pulled off his glove, and Dylan Marty right there to jump on top, and there was a dog pile. The bad boys of Port Huron getting it done tonight. A couple of players have left the ice. (12-1), 1:53 left in regulation. Well, stick around after the game. We'll have our 3 stars of the game announcement. We'll also give you highlights and analysis, the final game stats, locker room reaction. We will hear from the first star of the game, and much more. All that coming up on the PHP Network. So do not go away when this one is done. There's still lots more to do. And lots of penalties to figure out down there. Up to this point, only 2 penalty minutes in the game, which is unheard of. 58 minutes and 7 seconds, only 2 penalty minutes. But here we are, and we will have a lot more after this. Well, the Wolves will be starting the bus back to a Doubletree Port Huron. They have to come back and play these Prowlers again. We will see if tomorrow's another day. And obviously tomorrow is always a new day. Every game starts 0-0. And I hearken back to when the Prowlers went into Binghamton back in the 2022-23 season. And they gave up the most goals they've ever given up in franchise history. Largest margin of defeat, 13-2, as there's the chance for Marty that went off the crossbar off of McCallum's glove. And yeah, another look at that fight. But Prowlers lost 13-2 to the Binghamton Black Bears on a Friday night, January 2023. But they came back the next night and beat the Black Bears. So tomorrow's always a new day, and hey, the Prowlers have their first power play of the game after all of this. Reggie Millette wheels in. Larkin, Lockney, Dietrich, and Graham also out there with Millette on this power play. Wolves hounding the puck here, and Fadiev ends up with it. Fadiev, a shot off a stick. Larkin slides it up to Graham, trying to push it along. 2 Wolves in deep, trying to dig away. Larkin playing it away from Fadiev. The Wolves showing some pressure here. Why not? They don't have much to lose. And again, finally, the first fight shown by the Wolves in this game. Varava clears it all the way down. If the Prowlers don't score, then they will be on the power play for the remainder of this hockey game. They start to switch up the unit. Here comes Larkin. Off for Marty. Dylan Marty for Federley on the outside. Federley bounced it up to Marty. Over to Price. Favaro try to get back to Marty. Good stick by Gilbert. Inlow moves ahead. He was tripped up. Play continues. 31 seconds left to go. Price for Favaro. Prowlers still 1 goal away from the franchise record. They tied it, but they can break it here if they get one more. But Inlow clears it all the way up towards Gilbert. Looks like it won't be tonight at the Prowlers set a new franchise record for goals in a game. But man, is this a statement in the first game with the new collegiate signings, 12-1 over the Watertown Wolves. It doesn't get much more dominant than that. By the way, penalties from the end there. It was Marshall McCallum, Marquise Grant-Mentis, and Ryan Alexander each got 2 minutes. Alexander and Grant-Mentis, 2 for unsportsmanlike conduct, and McCallum 2 for leaving the goal crease. What more can you say after a game like this? Prowlers tie their franchise record for goals in a game. They set a new franchise record for margin of victory with an 11-goal win tonight. Grayson Dietrich and Bobby Price both tied the franchise record for goals in a game with 4. And we could continue to go down the record books, which were rewritten in this game here tonight. But coming up on the post-game show here on the PHP Network, we'll try and find a way through it, see if we can dig and find something. But again, it will be we'll have the highlights and analysis, final game stats, and locker room reaction, all of that coming up right here on the PHP Network. But first, we will have to get our 3 stars of the game once the prayer circle is done on Faith and Family Night here at McMorran Place. Hey, by the way, Luke James is getting baptized tonight. That is a big feature post-game presentation here. That's right, Luke James, who did not play tonight, he'll be getting officially baptized on the ice after the game. So that's exciting for all the fans here in attendance at McMorran Place. But hopefully we get to our 3 stars of the game announcement momentarily here. Let's see if we can send it down to ice level for the announcement of 3 stars of the game.
It's now time for tonight's 3-star selection. The 3rd star of tonight's game with 2 goals and 2 assists, number 18, Brett Lockhart.
So Brett Lockhart, 2 goals, 2 assists. He is the 3rd star of the game.
The 2nd star of tonight's game with 4 goals and 1 assist, number 29, Bobby Price.
Prowlers goal leader, added 4 more, ties a franchise record, and he's up to 25 goals this season.
And the 1st star of tonight's game in his professional hockey debut with 4 goals, number 17, Grayson Dietrich.
Grayson Dietrich have a debut. 4 goals, and he gets another chat with our Brady Beaton as tonight's Gunther Graphics Player of the Game.
down here on the ice with Grayson Dietrich. I mean, pro debut, you score 4 goals. When you're envisioning this game, did you ever in your wildest dreams think this was going to be how you'd get into the professional ranks?
Definitely not. No, I had no idea. In my wildest dreams, this couldn't happen. So it's pretty cool.
So I know when you get to the locker room, your phone's probably blowing up right now. Who's the first phone call to when you get undressed?
Probably my dad. Yeah, my dad and my brother.
So I imagine you have probably had a lot of people watching for this debut. I mean, who all watching? I'm sure guys from back in college. You gave them something, gave them a show, huh?
Yeah, I tried to. And I mean, thanks to the fans, they made it easy to play in front of them. So you got to give the credit there.
Well, Grayson, you set the bar pretty high for yourself, so you're going to have to live up to the standard your whole time as a Prowler. Congratulations and welcome to Port Huron.
Thank you.
Our Gunther Graphics player of the game, Grayson Dietrich. Will, back to you.
And that was Grayson Dietrich, who gets the chain as our Gunther Graphics player of the game. We'll be right back with the post-game show here on the PHP Network.
Are you sick of asking somebody else to live your own life? I'm Josh with the Franchise Guys. If you're ready to quit your job or build your empire, I'll help you trim down my 800 franchise brand partnerships down to a few that fit you, fit your goals, and fit your budget. With options from senior care to airplane detailing, there's an opportunity for you. Owning a franchise can have up to a 90% success rate. That's better than job security. With the systems and support of a franchise, you won't be making all those costly mistakes as you would if you started your own business from scratch. And with options as low as $6,000 to get your own job-replacing business, there's no better option for you than to book a free call with me and my team. Visit GoFranchiseGuys.com. Stop dreaming about a better life and go live it.
Come party where the Prowlers party at Hamlin Pub. With 10 locations including locally in St. Clair, Richmond, and Chesterfield. Hamlin Pub is the best place for your hangout. Watch the Prowlers or your other favorite sports teams on their mini screens throughout the pub and get your weekend going with live entertainment every Friday and Saturday. Come party like the Prowlers at Hamlin Pub.
Hey Spike, my hip meds are costing a fortune. My humans are stressed, and they're pretending it's fine.
You're not alone, Max. My humans are cutting back on my flea and tick meds.
Ugh, tell me about it. My thyroid pills were draining the kibble fund until we found Global Pharmacy Plus.
Online stores? Are they actually cheaper?
Way cheaper. They save my humans 40% or more compared to those other big online sites.
My humans can finally afford on premium treats again!
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hi guys, we just stopped at Industrial Park Marathon to get some fuel and some snacks before the Prowlers game at McMorran.
Nice. Yeah, we just stopped by here at Industrial Park Marathon so I can get a Slurpee before the game.
Wait till after the game. If the Prowlers score 3 or more goals, Slurpees will be free.
Thanks for the info. I'm going to get my Slurpee after, but we'll see you at the Prowlers game.
See you at the game. Go Prowlers!
Yeah, I don't know about this one, fellas.
Boys, we don't overcome adversity by backing down. But yeah, I don't know about this one.
That's reassuring.
We're so screwed.
All right, boys. Here's the game plan. LJ, you start with bananas.
Wait, why do I have to do the bananas?
Because you're the softest on the team.
I don't want the bananas.
This thing is gonna melt. We gotta hurry up.
I won't do it.
Okay, both of you. I will do the bananas and the whipped cream. Fets, please continue.
Who's paying for this anyway?
I am. I just bought my tickets for the Prowlers game this weekend, and the Milk House gave me 25% off my order.
Fets, why'd you buy the tickets? You're literally on the team.
For the discount.
So are you all ready to give it a try?
Oh, we're ready.
It's true. Get 25% off your entire order at the Milk House, October through April. Simply show your ticket stubs at checkout and enjoy your discounted treat.
We'll welcome him back here at McMorran Place. They're setting things up for Luke James to get baptized on the ice on Faith and Family Night. What a special thing that we have going on tonight. But before that happens, let's rip through the goals here. And we start back in the first period. Grayson Dietrich, first pro goal. Obviously, that was not the last time we heard from him. We did so again just a few minutes later as Dietrich able to tap home a rebound. Prowlers up 2-0 at that point. Then it would be 3-0 as Brett Lockhart took that shot that hit the post, hit Hunter Hall, and went in. Bobby Price made it 4 before the end of the first. Moving on to the second, Dietrich cleans up his own rebound. That's the hat trick goal for Dietrich, and that wasn't the only time they'd have to pick up hats here at McMorran Place. Prowlers kept on moving. Reggie Millette, backhand on Rico Gonzalez, end of his night after 5 goals. Marshall McCallum didn't fare much better. There's Bobby Price with his second. Vinny DeCumbus gets in on the scoring. I believe that was the extra point. Maybe in the 8th. I'm losing track at this point. There's the 8th one. There's the 9th one for the Prowlers. Price's hat trick goal. And how about another for Dietrich? There's his 4th as the puck came back on net. Prowlers continuing to buzz. And it was just that kind of night. A fortunate bounce for Price. He gets his 4th of the game. Dustin Henning would get one back for the Wolves to make it 11-1. The Prowlers had the last word. Brett Lockhart with a drive. And that made it 12-1, your final. Well, Brady Beaton is standing alongside Prowlers Associate Head Coach for the Schultz Roofing Coaches interview. He's alongside Chris Paulin. Where's Aiden? There's Aiden. We have our cameraman out there, and we're ready for the Schultz Roofing Coaches interview. Hey. We got nothing. Well, seem to be having some trouble with Brady's mic here. Hopefully we can get that figured out here. And let's try again here.
Down here on the ice for our Schultz Roofing Coaches interview with Associate Head Coach Chris Paulin. Coach, you talk about not being results-based but being process-based, and I think that rings truer when you have the result to back it up. What was the process that went well today?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was not a good start. First few shifts weren't great. It took us a little bit to get going. Obviously, a few new guys playing their first pro games, but no, I thought we did a much better job, especially in the second period. I thought we played a lot better in the second period. It's easy in a game like that when there's a little bit of time and space to kind of drift away from the game plan or the structure we put into place, what we're trying to work on. I think we did a pretty good job. I thought the energy level needs to increase a little bit tomorrow. I thought it was a little bit inconsistent today, but a few guys gave us a huge lift, and we're on to tomorrow.
I know it's just one game, but does it feel a little bit of vindication, like right away a guy you bring in, you, Matt, and Johnny, bring in a guy and he gets 4 goals right off the rip?
Yeah, well, Dietz has had one heck of a college career. It's somebody that we were very high on for a long time, so he's a great kid. He's really happy to be here, excited to go for a championship with this group, and I was really happy for him. Really not surprised at all. I mean, it's hard to score 4 in a game, but he's a heck of a player, and he knows how to score and knows how to play hockey. So
Niagara can produce some good hockey players, can't they?
Yeah, some of them for sure. But yeah, no, Dietz is great, and a lot of credit to his line mates too. I thought Buck did a heck of a job hunting pucks, finishing hits. Reggie was dominant all night, especially I think in the first and the second. Reggie, his motor was going, and he made some great plays. So I think again, step in the right direction. We got a long way to go. Trying to immerse some new guys into the group and into the fold, but I think guys are quickly figuring out what it means to be a Prowler and the level of expectation and the standard that we play through all 60 regardless of what the scoreboard says.
Just like a bad result, how do you put this one behind you and focus on tomorrow?
Very simple. Obviously tomorrow starts 0-0. There's no carryover, and we only have a few weeks with this group, current group, to get ready for the postseason. So there's no time to waste. Every rep in practice, every live rep in the game is very, very critical and important. And I think the new guys, R.A. stepped in. He played a really good game for us. He had a long, long travel day. Alexander, and then obviously Larks on the back end. I thought he put some great shifts together, and he played outstanding for us as well.
Well, Coach, I appreciate it. I think everyone's ready to get LJ baptized, so I think we'll head over there.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks, Brady.
Appreciate it, Coach. Will, back to you.
Thank you, Brady. Thank you to Prowlers Associate Head Coach Chris Poland. And you know what? Let's head down to the ice. I believe they'll have the microphones on here, so we'll be able to take Luke James's baptism live here on the PHP Network. Looks like they're getting set to go with that. Might still be discussing things. Not quite ready to go. So let's take a look at Grayson Dietrich again. He is our Gunther Graphics player of the game, as again the 4 goals tonight in his pro debut. There he is with the t-shirt. Got to toss to a couple of lucky fans here at McMorran Place. And what a debut for Dietrich. And we'll see if the Prowlers can get some more from him tomorrow. We'll see who steps up tomorrow. But let's send it down to the ice level for Luke James's baptism.
All right, yeah, we're on. All right, thanks everyone for staying. This is an exciting day. I know there are probably a lot of people from a lot of different churches around here, and there's a lot of different thoughts about baptism. A lot of churches do it a lot of different ways. I don't know any that do it on an ice rink. So this is a first. I've done rivers, lakes, pools, ice rink. Ice rink's a new one. But it fits, because what is happening today is more than a symbol. In our society, we live in a world where we don't really think a lot about the spiritual, but there's a spiritual world all around us. And in the times of Jesus, when Jesus walked the earth, and baptism was instituted among his followers, there was a recognition when they did this that it was a spiritual act taking place. That just like Jesus died on the cross and was buried and then rose again from the dead, in the same way we're baptized and we join in him with his death and his resurrection. So we go into the water an old man, and we come out a new man. So today, I think of the man. I met LJ a while back here, and as we got to know each other, he explained to me that he's a degenerate. He said, I don't think you want to see all these guys know. They're like, that's true. That's accurate. Accurate description. That's how they have them in his phone. In their phone, they're like, degenerate. There's LJ. And I think that's fitting, because that's who we are without Jesus. No matter how good we think we are, no matter how great we do, no matter how good we are on the ice, without Jesus, we are nothing. And when we encounter Jesus, and I've had the privilege of watching LJ over the last, I don't know how long, 2 years already? 2 years, start that journey. And wait until he wasn't going to get pressured by his buddies. He wasn't, it was Austin's doing it, I'm going to follow. It was, I'm going to watch, I'm going to learn, I'm going to ask questions, and I'm going to encounter the man of Jesus. And that's what I've had the honor of watching LJ do. And what Jesus does is he takes us from a degenerate, and he regenerates us. And he makes us a new man. So we're going to ask you a couple questions. I think these guys all want to share. The first question I want to ask you is, why are you choosing to get baptized today?
I want to give my life to Jesus Christ.
That's it. Either of you gentlemen have anything? Luke's asked 3 of us to be here, so I'm the pastor, so I get to be here, and I appreciate that. But these 2 men, LJ asked to be here, so we'll start with Caleb.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if, anyone who knows LJ knows that he has no problem dying on a hill. Not one bit. And from first glance or first impression, you may think, like, this is a guy that just always needs to be right. But getting to know him more, I've found that, like, it's not true, but he values truth. And being able to walk life out with you over the last 2 years, and just see Jesus tenaciously chase after you, not just in the last 2 years, but over your entire life, and see the transformation that's taken place in such a short amount of time is truly a blessing. And being a man who values truth, I give him a hard time sometimes, tell him he's got a little bit of an apologist in him. He's always making a case for Christ. But he is, I do believe with everything inside of me that he is deciding to follow the way, the truth, and the life. And that's a hill I have faith that he'll die on for the rest of his life.
Hello? Okay. Wow, we have some battles, eh? But God's given you a strong heart. He's filled that heart recently with his Spirit. And if anyone knows LJ, you can see it. It pours out of him. I know you used the analogy of someone pouring out honey. We see that in you. You have an aura from God just pouring out of you. I'm so proud of you for all the changes that you've made that no one else knows about. It's amazing, and I'm honored to do this with you. It's just amazing. I thank God. Let's do it.
All right, step in the water, Ryan. You ready? All right, now that you're in the water, I'm going to talk for a few more minutes. And yeah, deal. All right, I'm going to ask you a couple questions before you go down. Just make sure we cover all the bases. So do you believe that Jesus Christ is the only Son of God?
Absolutely.
Do you believe he died on the cross for your sins and rose again?
Absolutely.
Do you choose this day to renounce living for the enemy and giving your life to the kingdom of God from this day forward?
100%, absolutely.
All right. You guys ready? In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, we baptize you. All right, we want to thank everyone for staying here a little late tonight. Let's hear it for LJ, being born again and choosing to follow Jesus Christ for the rest of his life.
What a great way, a couldn't think of a more fitting way to end Faith and Family Night. And with a live baptism on the ice, congratulations to Luke James getting baptized, and see his teammates there greeting him following that. And again, what an awesome way to end Faith and Family Night. We still have a little bit more to do on our broadcast on the post-game show here on the PHP Network. That is coming up.
Hockey is like a business. One missed pass can derail the perfect plan. Have Taft Consulting help you get your whole team on the same page. They have the expertise to help you follow through on all your goals. Find out how they can help you today by emailing taftconsulting@outlook.com.
Hello, I'm home.
There he is.
What is happening?
Relax. We won. They brought back the snack wrap. Spicy or ranch?
Spicy.
Yeah, go. Yeah. Just one little bite.
Can you stop?
Oh, sorry.
Gather your crew. Snack Wrap is back.
SMR Automotive Systems is part of the Motherson Group and a proud community sponsor of the Port Huron Prowlers. We are one of the largest manufacturers of rear-view mirrors for passenger vehicles in the world, with local plants in Port Huron and Marysville. We strive to support our local communities and have positions available for various abilities and experience. Find out more about who we are at smr-automotive.com.
Is that him?
Look over there. It's Bob. Wow, just look at that hair.
Ever since he started getting his stuff from Global, the guy's unstoppable.
So that's what confidence can do?
That's just not fair.
Oh my goodness, it's Bob! Bob! Bob!
Give me the phone. I'm calling Global Pharmacy Plus for myself.
This isn't working. LJ, pass me those flyers. No look behind the back pass? It's a hope play, LJ, come on. Gap up, close the gap. Close the gap, what are we saying? This isn't working. We need a shift change. Let's bring in the professionals.
What's more authentic than a Hungry Howie's Detroit-style pizza? Nothing. We're not playing around with the pizza of our birthplace. Thick crust, cheese to the edge, sauce on the top. Where it belongs. We've seen a lot of fakes out there. Not here. This is authentic Detroit-style pizza. Order yours now online for $12.99. We sauce the top and rep for the 313 everywhere. We do bold. Hungry Howie's.
Well, welcome back one final time here to McMorran Place on Faith and Family Night. Prowlers with a 12-1 win over the Watertown Wolves. Let's take one last look at our out-of-town scoreboard presented by Love After Hours Boutique and Boudoir. Well, a low-scoring game in Binghamton, and the Black Bears got a goal from Nick Swain in the third period. That was it, as they take the win over the Hat-Tricks 1-0. Still in the third period, the Blue Ridge Bobcats have clawed back at home. They are now tied with the PD Ice Cats at 3 apiece. Justin Daly and Nick Stuckless have second period goals, and they're playing still in the third period. Rock Lobsters are pulling away from the Twin City Thunderbirds. Gus Ford has a hat trick in a barn where he scored a lot of hat tricks, but this time for the visitors, 5-2 Lobsters. They have just finished regulation in Columbus, now heading to overtime, tied at 5 between the River Dragons and the Moccasins. Might want to hop over there in just a few moments. Scott Koash has put the Topeka Scarecrows in front in Minnesota. The neutral site games at Ralph Engelstad Arena. It's 2-1 Topeka heading into the third. And finally, the Biloxi Breakers have opened up a 6-2 lead on the Baton Rouge Zydeco through 40 minutes of play. How about Hugo Koch? 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points. So far in that one. Of course, here the Prowlers destroyed the Watertown Wolves 12-1. The Outtown scoreboard presented by Love After Hours Boutique and Boudoir. Use code Prowlers for 15% off at Love After Hours. Before we wrap things up, one last look at our Gunther Graphics game stats. Final stats here on the PHP Network. Well, Prowlers outscored the Wolves 12-1, outshot them 56-14. Those shots on goals should be switched, but hey, I mean, after everything that happened there at the end, only a few penalty minutes on either side, so each team ended up 0 for 1 on the power play. There we go. 56-14 the shots. So the Wolves outshoot the Prowlers' goal total by just 2 tonight, as the Prowlers finished with the dominating win. That's going to do it for us here at McMorran Place. So much thanks to go around to the entire crew. Christian Jackson, Andres Hyde, Liz Brown, and Kyle Carlson were producing and directing tonight's broadcast. Zach Dotson was on the graphics. On the cameras tonight, Kim Nelson, Alexander Nelson, and Aiden Bricker, Paul Campow, and Elizabeth Sullivan. And of course, Brady Beaton was down on the sidelines. For the entire crew who watched a lot of goals, my name is Will Wiggleman. We will see you again tomorrow night when the Prowlers and the Wolves do it again here from McMorran Place. Puck drop is scheduled for 6:05 p.m. Pregame show starts at 5:50. It's all right here on the PHP Network. Now, I can't guarantee that the Prowlers will tie the franchise record for goals in a game again, but should be an exciting one. So please watch if you can't make it, but if you can make it out, bring your dog. It is Pucks and Pups night, and it is also Paw Patrol night. So we'll be wearing specialty Paw Patrol jerseys out there on the ice to benefit a Blue Water Area Humane Society. Now that's going to do it for me. For Brady Beaton and the entire crew, my name is Will Wiggleman, who needs to go drink some tea. I'm going to go do that. You all enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks so much for tuning in on the PHP Network.